to get lost in yesterday, to bring back all these things. I know you love them, I know you love them, but I know that I can try again to warm your heart. Please understand, things don't stay forever. We say we want to make a change. I must admit it feels a little strange to see it in a different way. And even if it passes by, this isn't how we say goodbye. Just until next time. There's nothing wrong with shedding tears to make sure that your side is clear and bring to light all your silly fears.
It's terrific. I'm so proud of you.
Just when you forgot, maybe take the time to stop and cherish what we had instead of missing what we had. You only notice when it's gone, because to satisfy what you long for, you will have to try again to fill your heart. Please understand, things don't stay forever. You know you've got to make a change. You must admit it feels a little strange to see it in a different way. And even when it passes by, that wasn't how you said goodbye. Just until next time, you'll still get through the falling tears. And now you know your side is clear. Bring to light all your silly fears. don't rush. Something that you want, but you need it more. You've got it in your heart, but your mind's blown. You know that you can try, you're getting so close. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the whole world? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel your heart dancing with the universe? Dancing with the Everything you need is inside you. You just need to see what's in front of you. Don't listen to their words, do your own thing. Just listen to yourself and make it happen. It's something you can do with your hands. There's something about the way you evolve. It's hard for them to understand. Just keep on playing to your song. Can you feel it? Can
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to twitch.tv/Knights. I'm Liefx. Alongside me is Lethamyr as we continue to follow the journey of the Knights. We're heading into week 4 of the grid. Lethamyr, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you? Good to see you again. And say hello to Jinx TV while we're at it. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna be having some exciting matches today.
Wherever you're joining us from, we enjoy you guys joining us and watching the Knights. Hopefully they can make it through the rounds into that top 8. We'll look at the bracket later. We'll talk about that in a bit. It looks like their journey should be easier than the past. So why don't we talk about the past? The Knights are now going into week number 4 of the grid, which is a 9-week tournament, trying to get grid points to get first place to auto-qual into that major for the RLCSX fall split. There are 16 teams split into 4 groups of 4. And then we have in this group, the top 2 from each group make it out into the top 8 into a single elimination bracket. So right now we have a double elimination bracket. All matches are best of 5. Lethamyr, let's talk about the journey so far. We're heading into week 4 now. Week 1, 2, and 3. It seems like the Knights have just gotten better and better and better. And then of course, performing pretty well in the regionals too.
Yeah, so they're looking better every week, and for once this week we actually have some new faces to maybe come up against. With the first match being KCP, you did talk about though that they've ran into each other previously a while ago, and they did win that match. So as we go into the bracket in a bit, I'm excited to see these new matchups, but also some friendly faces like SPACESTATION on the other side of the bracket.
Lethamyr, jumping the gun. I said, what happened in the past? We gotta fill people in.
I gotta talk about like
you're jumping the gun.
What's happening now compared to what happened
show
in the
out the
past.
window.
I'm so sorry. In the last 3 weeks, we've seen some really good matchups against some high-level teams like SPACESTATION, United, and even some comrades like ALPINE, and having some pretty good results there. Not really the full potential, I would say, of this team yet, but like I said, every week's been improving drastically. So I think this is finally the week to give them that running start that they needed.
Yeah, no, we from week number 1, you're talking about their potential from the get-go. Just saying, hey, these guys are a team that needs to build. We talk about this context now of having 9 to 10 months of play. There's a lot of play ahead of us. In the past, we've already played more matches than one season of the RLCS in the old format. Now with this new format, we've seen so much, and people are still, I think I've seen a lot of fan base be saying stuff like, oh, this team, they lost this week, they're terrible, make changes. But the context has changed. There's so much of a wider perspective, I think, Lethamyr, that people need to have now, given the fact that these seasons are so long. We're still just in the first part. We're heading into the second third of the first split. There's going to be 3 splits across the rest of this year. So
yeah,
I feel like
long.
yeah, the perspective needs to change now. Teams are going to take time to build, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Corelli made it, a pretty good statement on Twitter a while ago about, if you're doing well in regionals, but doing well also in the grid, that means you're a strong, consistent team. If you're doing well in regionals, but not so well in the grid, then you're a good team, but not as consistent, and you might struggle against teams you don't usually face off against in the upper side of RLCS. And then if you're doing poorly in the regionals, but you're doing well in the grid, that means you're like one of those underdogs that are like, they have the consistencies there, but it's sort of up and down on the level of play.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing bad and everything, well, you're just bad. So
you gotta be worried.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what this is sort of showing teams is who can really take the stamina and really push through all of these events and be able to shine like SSG has really been doing in all of these events. So they're definitely the one team you'd say is good in both. So we're seeing Knights do decently well in the grid so far, but I'm sure they want to do better.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like even going, game 5s against, version 1, they're going game 5s against NRG. These are matches that are usually stops for those teams. So the fact that they were keeping up for that, and then they made it into the top 8 in the RLCS X Regional 1 for North America is a huge accomplishment for them. Of course, they dropped out in that first round there, but to even get to the top 8 is a huge task in its own, and it's something that's, I think, really a huge testament to this new format. that these teams on those days, if they can perform, are able to show that they can get there. And even across 2 weeks, the Knights were showing how consistent they were. And now we head into week number 4. Now, Lethamyr, we can take a look at the bracket and see their first match. You mentioned it. You mentioned it was KCP, and there is history behind these guys to qualify for that top 8. Pittsburgh Knights had to play Kansas City Pioneers, which they beat 3-1. So, Lethamyr, this is a favorable first matchup, considering their previous weeks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, Charlotte Phoenix can be that underdog that you never really respect enough. I would say they have the power to push against these top teams. So you never know what we're gonna run into in round 2. But I still think Space Station is looking so dominant right now that it's really hard to argue against them moving through this bracket at the top half here.
So the way it's going to work is that, again, if they make it on, they move to round 2. If they lose, they will end up in the lower bracket facing off the loser of Space Station Gaming or Charlotte Phoenix. If they do make it to that round 2 and face off against very likely Space Station Gaming and drop down the lower bracket, they'll end up playing the winner of the losers of the Sonics XSET G2 Alpine bracket there. So they end up getting shoved into that other part of the bracket. So right now they're focused on...
all that, by the way?
Yeah.
A bit difficult. Basically, the bracket flips out after the second round. So
that's probably a way simpler way to put it.
Yeah, that was like Rubik's Cube level algorithms. I don't know what just happened.
Just go look at Wikipedia and you guys will be fine.
There you go.
But basically, this is a fair start, and I think you're honestly fair to say that Space Station Gaming is going to move through there. Obviously, we love the players of Charlotte Phoenix, but you have to look at the past history of the past few weeks. The last 3 weeks of the grid, you look at the regionals. Space Station Gaming is, in all honesty, the best in North America right now. So it is a fair assessment to say that there's a good chance that if the Knights make it through this first round, they'll be playing Space Station Gaming. I don't think it's much disrespect to say that they're going to win that one to Charlotte Phoenix. So
now with you saying they're the best team in North America, which I agree with you. Now we've seen the Knights go to Game 5 against these people. So where would you put the Knights as far as where they are versus their potential? Because if they're coming to Game 5s against Space Station, I feel like they have the potential to be one of the upper teams in North America in the future if they can really iron everything out. So where do you think they are right now compared to where they could be?
So the key thing you mentioned there, is the potential that this team has. So this is a top 10 North American team in my eyes, potentially. Well, they've proven they're top 8 through the regionals, but where they float in between there is going to change. I think they're a team that we very well could see as one of those middle packs consistently with those pop-off potentials to take tournaments later on down the road. Again, this is a building process. It is going to take time, and the cool thing is that we get to sit here and watch this journey happen. Now, if they can get results today, that's even better, but it will take time. It will be a process. So for the Knights, I mean, you're looking at a team that can grow and is going to continue to grow, already has this much in the past few weeks. Man, by the end of the grid, I could see them making that top 8 into the semis even, and that is a crazy accomplishment to have in such a short amount of time. I mean, you look at even teams like NRG, G2, that are having struggles against the teams of the same caliber as the Knights here around that same level. So it's getting to the point where, I forget who it was that called them out for it, but the top teams, I think, got a bit complacent at one point, and now they're starting to have to realize that they got to keep pushing forward if they don't want to get caught up too.
I mean, that's a similar story to everybody, I think, is complacency comes and goes depending on how you're doing. You sort of have these like little roller coaster of up and down of, you're at the point where it's like, oh, everything's going well, so let's just like keep doing what we're doing, but everyone else tries to improve and learn a new strategy or change up their gameplay or play style, and you find that yours isn't working so often. And we talked about this in the previous weeks as well, is that Knights have a really good adaptability, I think, moving into these different games against different teams, and that can really help make those ups and downs be limited, because although we have been seeing them go to close games, they always put up a good fight, and so they're kind of like that middle ground. They kind of just stay there. What we want to do is basically push up their lowest lows and push up their highest highs, basically. So just move that bar up a little bit.
And right now, the Knights are working to get to that consistent set bar. They've put in a lot of work so far. We've seen some really good results from them the past few weeks. The growth, I think, is what I mean by results. And this week, I'm thinking this is a week that they could potentially push into that top 8 here. Let's just kind of theory craft some results here, Lethamyr. Let's talk about the bracket and what we think could go here. So first round against KCP, do we feel like this should be a dub? I mean, the last time they faced off 3-1, pushing them through. My results here would be a Space Station Pittsburgh Knights round number 2. I don't know about you.
Oh, of course. I mean, we're on the Knights here, so
yeah.
Of course, they're going to win 3-0 through the whole bracket. But realistically, yeah, I believe that they can push this into the round 2. Like I said, none of these teams are to scoff at. Like, you have to respect them. So I think the Knights can do a good job of controlling that midfield against the Pioneers. Then they'll probably have a really good run into the round 2. Like we said, with Space Station moving into round 2, we've seen them enough against the Knights that now I think they have a good idea. They probably did a lot of research or replays reviews about like how to play against them, or what to do against them, why they have such a good control on midfield, and maybe push back on that half too. So I think it's that whole control in midfield, and like we talked about, Kinsey is that back middle rock, and then you have CPS kind of just flying everywhere, doing everything. So Rodoko's gonna be that person who kind of fits those middle grounds. So I think it's mainly on Rodoko to give the space for Kinsey and ZPS, because they're kind of set in stone in their play styles. So unfortunately, it is the most difficult job to fill that space, but I think he can do it. Definitely, he's very consistent. So I don't know, I'm excited to see what they do in this week 4 of the grid.
No.
It's finally coming together. Their play style is starting to be more polished and more. You're seeing repetition, but also they break away from that to adapt to these different teams.
Exactly, yeah. Now, looking at the lower half there, the Sonics, XSET, G2, Alpine, who do you think is going to end in the lowers from those? Honestly, those are really hard ones to predict. I mean, XSET has been talked about having that potential. Obviously, Sonics have had better results than XSET, but G2 has also been upset by Alpine before. So this one's a little harder to predict. Who do you think's making it into that semis from that second group there?
Yeah, it's hard to say because XSET faced off against Alpine last week and they lost 2-3, and then we had to face off against them 3-1. We got a win down in the bottom bracket, so they're a close match against Alpine there. But this week with them being against Sonics similarly haven't had super great results. I mean, they have had good results last week. They 3-0'd Charlotte Phoenix. And then they unfortunately lost to Rogue 3-2, but that 3-2 loss was very, very difficult. They were actually up 1-0 in the final game up until the last minute, and then Rogue brought it back in a long overtime. So, and then of course we did lose to them in the bottom of the bracket last week. So they are a formidable team. I think it really comes down to countering playstyles. So I see Sonics being the more consistent team here out of XSET, but at the same time, XSET can surprise you.
So this is important because if we do lose to Space Station Gaming in round number 2, we're going to have to face off against one of those 4 teams. Who do you think it's going to be? Going to the lower bracket and then pushing through to the lower round number 2. Who do you think we're going to end up facing out of those 4 teams?
So, I mean, I see the Sonics and G2 coming out to the top round 2 here.
Okay, so XSET Alpine down.
Yeah, and then, from previous results, we can expect possibly Alpine moving through. So if we were to flip the bracket, we'd probably be facing them.
Okay.
But at the same, which way? If it's Sonics versus G2, do we face the loser of that?
No, we face the winner of the losers of that first round.
Okay.
So it'll be XSET and Alpine.
Then Alpine. Yeah.
Okay. Alpine is the prediction here for Knights. So that's also a winnable one, but Alpine has been stepping up. But that would be a very close match. But we're obviously looking huge into the future and trying to make huge predictions here especially with all these teams, it could be almost anything. So we're going to have to find out as these matches almost get underway. Before that happens, though, I do want to welcome everyone that's joining us on Jinx. We're also streaming on twitch.tv/Knights. So welcome everyone that's watching us from every single direction. We always love having you guys here watching the Knights' journey into week number 4 of the grid as we almost get this first part of the bracket underway. We do want to mention, of course, we have a giveaway on Twitter. Make sure you guys are over there on HyperX. To get this HyperX package, twitter.com/KnightsGG. Make sure you guys retweet, follow, and tag a friend in that tweet. And we will be announcing our winner after the second game today. We're doing one of these every single week. So make sure you guys are over there and following that account anyway so that you never miss one of these giveaways. Make sure you guys are in chat here so you can find out if you guys won. So again, head on over to twitter.com/KnightsGG. Retweet, follow, and tag a friend in that retweet. You'll see where the giveaway is there. And you don't want to miss out on this HyperX package here. Again, especially as we're doing them every single week. Make sure you guys are joining us. But as we were just talking about, the journey that's happened so far for the Pittsburgh Knights looking a lot better and better every single week. Their first match is going to be versus Kansas City Pioneers. KCP's been stepping up. KCP's been looking better and better. These are players that we've seen around for a very long time, obviously rapid in memory, but Beast Mode is a face that's a bit more unfamiliar to the scene, Lethamyr. But a lot of people have been talking about his potential on offense here. I'm not sure if you've seen much of the gameplay, but what do we expect out of Kansas City Pioneers when we hit the field in just a few minutes?
Well, Kansas City Pioneers from last week did make it into the playoffs bracket. They actually 3-0 G2, so they're kind of a dark horse. You never know what to expect from them. With Memory being that new third out in the place of Seabass, which was very unexpected. People didn't really expect that to happen. It's very versatile. I just think that there's some openings there, especially with the playstyles of those 3 players. So if the Knights can find an opening on their defense, then that's where they're going to find the goals, obviously. I mean, that makes sense, but it's more about how they are pretty aggressive. We'll have to see how they're playing, and like I said, Knights are pretty good at adapting. So as we move through the series, they'll have to understand whether they need to push further down the field or pull back a little bit, have players more reserved, ready for those higher clears. Memory's known to be a very strong player as far as like booming the ball because of he uses the dominance most of the time. So they're probably going to sit a bit further back just to prepare for those kind of opportunities. But if they start controlling the ball, they might have to push up and get in the face of the KCP players.
Where do you think the Knights kind of function a bit better? Because you mentioned also earlier that they've not just been static. They've been able to adapt to the teams they're playing. Do you think they should just immediately start, on that defense, keep these games close like we saw in week number 1 and 2? Or should they start to adjust to the offense early on and try to generate those early goals? Where do you think they should start off? Like, what is the starting pitch looking like for position of these players? Or what you'd like to see from them?
Sorry, from the Knights?
Yeah, from the Knights. So basically, again, we've seen them adapt to their play style a bit, get faster when they need to, or slow down and be defensive when they need to. How would you like to see them come out the gates here and start their play against KCP? Is it better to start defensively and feel out what your opponents are, get a counterattack, or is it better to just put that offense on as fast as possible?
It's tough to say because we've done experiments on YouTube all the time about these ranked matches and stuff, and the psychology of Rocket League. I think the change-up is the most important part. We did a thing where you're full-on balls to the wall, aggressive the entire game, or full-on defensive and just getting those breakaways. But then the last option is to do half and half, and so it really depends on which way you want to go. Do you want to be in their face for the first half of the game and then sort of be more reserved, or do you want to be reserved, or just sort of zigzag back and forth? And I think they want to come out the gate strong and smother them. And make them second guess themselves, and then they can start to play their normal style and make them start to panic and play out they're like outplay themselves basically on defense, and that's where they'll find the openings. I'm going to assume that if they come out strong and they have that boost steal pressure that they get, they could start to make some panics from the KCP players, and then that's where you start to pummel them with shots.
At the beginning, just kind of assert dominance and make them recognize that you're a threat. And then kind of play your game, because from that point on, they're always going to be wondering, hey, are they going to do this? We don't know. But we're going to find out how they're going to start right now as we drop down into game number 1. This is the best of 5 against the Kansas City Pioneers. Pittsburgh Knights working on their journey to make that top 8 for the first time. Here in week number 4 of the grid. All these teams working for an extra 10,000 prize pool every week, and grid points, of course, to try to help them out in RLCS Season X and get a guaranteed spot to that major in a couple months. Of course, the journey is long, and the Pittsburgh Knights looking for a lot of experience and growth here, and we've already seen a lot of it a start from KCP as they try to put on that early attack. And
can we mention something? Seabass on the field.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Huh.
Wait a minute.
Technically, if you look at their roster, he isn't registered as a sub. He's just registered as a 4th.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't expect that, though. Because it's been beast mode every week, I believe.
Yeah. So which is really interesting, too, because, like, we don't see a lot of teams interchange their rosters as much. When a roster is 3 players, it's 3 players and a sub. And not often we see that interchange happen. We do know in Rocket League, though, that sub power seems to bring something special to players. We saw in the last season of RLCS.
Yeah, but they're no match for the Knights, of course, here. Even though they've changed their play style. We're not worried about that. We're going to see, it's a different team, so we're expected to see a bit of a different play style, of course, with Seabass coming in. Beast mode is definitely a very aggressive play. Oh, actually, it's beast mode instead of rapid.
That's out.
Yeah. So here I am. So confused.
It's very interesting. I guess something happened that we were unaware of, but it doesn't matter. We're going to beat them either way. Put in whoever you want. Pittsburgh Knights will be victorious.
Now you've jinxed them.
That's
not my fault this time. It's good to know.
He's like, yeah, I started the match. I didn't cast first anything. It's on Leaf. Good day today.
Good 50-50 in mid. Beast mode. 0 boost. Rodoko will have space with the ball. Air dribble by Rodoko gives it to 1. See Seabass last on the defense. Beast mode makes a good save. Seabass to clear. Rodoko gets the midfield, but bumps his teammate. Beast mode with space now. It's a good chance. A fake by memory. Seabass trying to disrupt that play in mid. Kinsey gets a good 50-50.
With 2 minutes left. No one scored yet. We talked about wanting that early aggression. It's been a lot of back and forth between both teams so far.
A few shot opportunities from both teams. Yeah, like you said, back and forth. Not too many good opportunities. They're clear shots. Just testing the waters. Kinsey does run out of boost. DPS leaves that boost, which means Beast Mode will steal it.
And according to intel here, it seems Rapid is actually out because he's been hit with a power loss because of the storm. So,
oh boy! So this might be unexpected too. So
yeah,
maybe scrimmed with the previous team, but now we have a new setup. The great save by Rodoko. 0 boost. Keeps the scoreline 0-0.
Hope Rapid's good, but at the same time, we hope we can beat their team.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, Seabass is a good player, so it's not like we've had a downgrader of any sort to play against.
Final minute gameplay, no goal yet. Lethamyr still not back and forth. We've got a lot of close chances for the KCP, and Pittsburgh Knights have been kind of goal line saving quite a bit here.
Yeah, some good pressure from the KCP players, but at the same time, still good opportunities for the Knights here. You see another chance off the backboard. Not a good enough shot, though. Boost steal by Seabass. So Kinsey trying to collect the ball in the corner. Gets the demo. Emery dunks 2, though. And pops across over Seabass's head. Beast Mode will wait. Almost an open shot. Just off the side post. I just don't know who's going to go for that ball, but space in mid for Seabass off backboard. Last final chance, 0 seconds. The ball will go to overtime, so 0-0, Leaf. I think it's the first time we've seen that scoreline in the grid with the Knights.
Yeah, no, and straight into overtime in game number 1. What a way to start. As this rematch happens, last time, I'll remind you guys, Pittsburgh Knights won 3-1 in the RLCS to get themselves into top 8, but then Kansas City Pioneers putting up quite a different fight here, keeping the Pittsburgh Knights on defense quite a bit. Wondering for the Pittsburgh Knights if trying to hold possession off of these touches on defense is going to be the key to moving on to, offense and getting some scoring chances themselves.
Two players committed by the Pioneers.
Oh, great pass. There it is, Renoko. Kinsey, sorry, no finish. They almost had that passing play. It's good to see the Knights looking for each other on those passing plays. Those are connections we like to see, as long as not committing too hard and giving up their defense.
Good cut by Beast Mode. Gives some space, but Kinsey will clear it. Both players looking a bit sketchy on the backboard, but great clear by Seabass. The opportunity, and there it is, DPS. Yeah, so that backboard situation was real tough for Seabass, but he gets a decent clear.
Sort of. It went off the ceiling. Had it not touched the ceiling, it might have been a little harder for ZPS, but it came down quick enough that Seabass couldn't recover. And ZPS just bangs one home. All the spots in the world to shoot that. You know ZPS is going to connect. He's been popping off. You mentioned it earlier. You like to see him just full send it. You can generate a lot of offense, and there he is getting that touch. Game number 1 in an overtime against Kansas City Pioneers. Pittsburgh Knights take it. ZPS with the finisher. And some good connection on offense there from the Knights at the end, but I am worried about how often they were spending on defense, Lethamyr.
Yeah,
because the KCP is putting pressure on.
So 6 saves to 1. And the shots just were back and forth so quick from KCP. So a lot of pressure from KCP, but that's sometimes all it takes is just that one open goal, and we do find a win in this first match. But we have to do a little bit better to get out of our defensive half if we want to stay on top of this.
And I mentioned one way to do that is, just get the ball closer instead of just banging it back to midfield. Is that one of the only options you can really do, is just try to trap the ball, try to bring it to the corner to move the ball out of field yourself? Or are those hard clears sometimes the better option?
Sometimes the hard clear is good, but then it's important not to overcommit. As we see an early goal by DPS again. So we take those. Back to the storyline of last week.
Yeah. That was just a great kickoff, 50-50 up, the cheat from ZPS, and it's going to send that one home. Both the defenders for KCP went for their boost. I wonder if they're going to send someone to cheat on this one instead. Yeah, they do. But a little bit late. The sheets are coming up pretty strong from Pittsburgh Knights. No capitalization on that one, but you definitely know KCP wasn't going to let that happen again.
The pop by Beast Mode. The player Seabass not quite getting the touch he wanted. Demo in mid, gonna get some space for the Knights. Beast Mode cuts off early. So it's good to see an early lead here. A high clear, remember he gets the touch off the backboard. Use it for Beast Mode, gets cut out. D across the Rodoko. Solid shot. Beast Mode with the save.
GPS finish. Saved on the backboard. Look at the pummel. Just shot after shot right now.
Or KCP, like to see.
They're getting desperate to get out of their own end right now, though.
It's 50-50. Take for the flick. That's a really good shot by Beast Mode. You can't discredit that shot. Great carry into the 50-50. Seabass dropping that ball and just muscling it through Kinsey there. That final flick gives the open space.
Yeah, that was a tricky flick, too. It's a bit delayed. The defender maybe thought that was going to come quicker. Beast Mode just kind of leans forward a bit before getting that final flip, I think, and it just kind of lofts it over the defender at the last second. We're tied up in game number 2. Pittsburgh Knights taking the first game as they're up 1-0 against KCP.
That pinch, no way.
Well, how did that happen?
The corner, a catch by Beast Mode into the 50-50. If they tries to get around him, but that touch just lobs it towards their own net.
Woof. Yeah, that's That's not a good 50-50.
Yeah, that was more like a 90-10 for Beast Mode, unfortunately, there
Yeah.
for the Knights. See the KCP players getting back to the aggression they were in the first game. Bump off CPS. Rodoko up early. Cuts it off from Seabass.
Nice demo.
Good demo to keep it open.
Where ZPS needs to take control, though. That was a chance for him to maybe move out of the field, let his teammates follow with him.
Chance for Kensei off the ceiling. Doubles it, but a clear to the side.
Good communication. You saw Rodoko pull off.
Up to ZPS. ZPS for a chance off the backboard. Decides to go down. It doesn't have enough boost to follow. 2 players up for KCP, so with that ball dropping down awkwardly, there will be some space in midfield.
Yeah. It was a bit of an awkward stall there that kind of killed any momentum that the Knights had for offense there, but a demo on their way out. Another one, but they're still going to be pushed back their own end. There's a hard clear. They're struggling to find those scoring lanes right now. They're getting down there. They're getting physical play, but they're getting shut down immediately by KCP. As KCP still holds the lead, 2 minutes left.
And the pressure, too.
What are they going to have to do right now, Lethamyr, to make sure they can stay on offense? It seems like anytime they get down there, they're pushed back to their own end pretty quickly.
Right here, these plays over a player is going to, it's going to get past players, but it's not going to cause. There's just solo plays down the field. It gives the ball right back to the KCP.
Yeah.
So we need to see more, in the face play, demos, bumps, 50-50s to keep it close to the opponent. Start to set up a passing opportunity. That's a great shot by Rodoko. There you go. As I said, there's the open space. Pass it across, pops it up. And Rodoko with the finishing touch. Beautiful to the top bar there. That's sort of what we want to see is more midfield presence.
It was what you were talking about before. What a read off the roof, too. That was you had to be so precise with that shot. There was no loft, straight off the ceiling. And that's something you were talking about before with Rodoko kind of being that filler man to be where he needs to be. But anytime he's on offense, man, I've always enjoyed, and it always seems like his accuracy is on point. So personally, I'd love to see Rodoko getting those cleanup goals, let someone else set up the play. But Rodoko to finish things off would be what I like to see. And Kansas City Pioneers not going to let that tie last for long.
Seabass, the great touch off the corner. That's so hard to read as a defender.
Yeah.
There's just so many more opportunities for Beast Mode to come in there and take that shot, and he shoots it far right side. So with a minute left, we're now down a goal. We're going to need to recover.
Whole bunch of unluck for ZPS. Tried to cut down the angle, but of course that shot came in pretty powerful. Rodoko, he's got a chance now. Slow follow-up from ZPS. Off the crossbar, there's another shot. Kensei can't put it away. 30 seconds left. They're going to start going into full offense now. As there's nothing left to lose, you want to get to match point as soon as possible. You're not going to do it if the KCP are in the lead. Good block. ZPS with no boost, though. Is going to get followed up by Rodoko. We've got full. Tries to get the read. Can't get the 50. It's in the air. Beast Mode. The great second touch shuts down the Knights' offense. They're kind of sharking right now. Chance. Almost a miss play. That's in front of the net. Where's the follow-up? There it is. Rodoko. 6 seconds left. Going to put it away for the Pittsburgh Knights, and we may have an overtime.
So Seabass misses that aerial, and then Beast Mode, instead of catching the ball, was afraid the shot might come in early. Taps it to the corner, and that opens up the space. So 2 mistakes from KCP, and we will equalize.
2 seconds left. ZPS just getting in the way, trying to put it down. Eventually it is, and we have a second overtime. We took the first one, so it's looking good, but again, KCP's offense has been troublesome for the Pittsburgh Knights. They almost try to force another one through. Let's see if an early finish here can come up for the Knights. They've been connecting a lot more on offense. When they get there, I like to see those passing plays. What you're talking about, this is rough. Good pressure from Kinsey to move it down. DPS to follow up. He's got enough boost to pass this off the backboard. It's going to be met by beast mode, though. Bounce shot should be saved. It is. As the Knights try to hold that midfield pressure.
So good placement on the touches by the Knights. We have some openings, and there it is. Rodoko passed down from DPS. Finds an opening shot. It's 2-0 in the series here, Leaf.
I told you, give me Rodoko on offense. That's all I need. Rodoko on offense, and he's going to put them away. He knows the slots. He knows the spots. And he's going to sink them right in. Rodoko with the finisher. Getting most of those goals, too. I think he got three of their goals. His DPS helping out on a few. Kinsey playing more of that support, being where he needs to be. This is what you like to see from the Pittsburgh Knights. Match point now, Lethamyr.
Yeah, and look at the differential in shots now. We've got 13 shots from the Knights rather than, I think it was like 3 or 4. And the save line has been completely shifted over to the Pioneers.
Yeah.
They have seven saves from the side of Pioneers. So much more pressure from the Knights. Looks like a slower start, but now they start to warm up and really dominate this series so far.
Well, I'm kind of worried for the Knights right now because there were still a lot of shots. With only 3 of them being saved, it just meant that, well, KCP's been missing a lot of their shots, hitting the crossbars and posts. So if that cleans up, they might have a little more troublesome scoreline coming into game number 3 here. But again, what I like to see is what they're doing right now. You got a lot of connected passes and follow-ups on the offense from the Pittsburgh Knights. DPS has set up a lot of the plays using his creativity. Rodoko's getting those solid placements to finish things off. If we see that follow-up through, they should be a 3-0 sweep, but I wonder if we'll see the similar scoreline to RLCS, a 3-1, or if we're going to end it early and move on in the bracket. And maybe a prediction of 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 throughout the entire day at Lethamyr is going to come true. Space Station, watch out.
Yeah, I mean, a quick 3-0 would be nice, push into that next series. I'm excited to see if they can really start to take these playstyles against the teams that they've struggled a little bit more against. Obviously, teams like Space Station have a completely different playstyle, more dominant in midfield. As DPS pops it down midfield, cleared by KCP. They returning that over to Rodoko. Now beast mode on the backboard, going for the clear. There he gets 50-50, but yeah, it's just back and forth here once again. Every game.
Beast mode is one of those players. Gotta watch out for him, man. He's looking like he's feeling mechanically pretty sound today and warmed up. If he gets that ball moving on offense with enough boost, that defense is going to have to be extraordinarily careful. CPS looking for Rodoko again. I think they know the setup. They're trying to connect with it, but it was intercepted by Kansas City Pioneers. Match point, or as a reminder for the Pittsburgh Knights to move on to round number 2 of this double elimination bracket. D-Mass is going to throw the first one away.
Unfortunate situation there. Poor clear by, I believe that was Rodoko. And Kinsey just didn't quite get the mark on that aerial. Watching out for that demo and try to get out of the way. The D-Mass will open up the scoreline 1-0 for Pioneers. I believe this is the first lead they've had in this series. Early shot from Beast Mode off the backboard. Kinsey dancing around in the net there.
350 from Kinsey, though, as he pushes that to midfield. Rodoko with the follow-up. Enough boost, brings it high instead of bangs it straight at the net. You talked about that, too, before, Lethamyr, when I asked you, what do they got to do to make sure this offense lasts a bit longer? It's hold it closer. I feel like moves like that, just following through on the ball to try to get 50s is exactly what they're looking for, instead of just bang towards the net.
You're exactly right with that. They need to keep the ball closer together on the offensive side, like this DPS going for this touch, disrupt, but cleared away. It's just, it needs to be placed in a position that might just go straight in. It does. What?
Excuse me? Was that a 50? It was just straight off the wall. Oh my goodness, we take those. All right.
I have no words for that one. I just don't know what to say.
Sometimes it happens, Lethamyr, in Rocket League. It's things just happen that you press skip replay and you move on. Same time, we take those 1-1 now for the Pittsburgh Knights.
So many great clear opportunities in this game so far. A good save by memory. Slippery sticks. Looking like Knights are looking pretty confident today as well, so that's good to see. Mechanically feeling good. DPS clear to the side. And another clear. That's just going to go straight in the net.
That is in. I mean, at the same time, we want those because it's for the Knights, but you got to feel bad for that last. But it was crept up a little far. You know what? That's kind of his own fault, I think. There was no one back.
Beast Mode was going for that challenge, and Seabass, I think, assumed he was going to be closer.
Where was the third man, though?
Well, Seabass was pretty close, but second man challenging was late as well, so both kind of in the wrong there. Two players crept up together. Pinch across. Seabass clears for Rodoko. 50-50. So close to Beast Mode. Like you said, his mechanics are looking pretty good today. $50. Space for DPS. Booms it towards the net. Clear for Seabass.
Yeah, Rodoko out of boost, so he's going to miss that one. He'll be out of the play for a while. He needs to keep this one close. What?
And Seabass just getting caught out once again in that midfield.
Yeah. You can't do anything but kind of feel bad right now for the KCP.
I mean, yeah, like they're not playing with the roster they're used to, so
It's
every
true.
player is having to adapt on the field.
It's true. It's true.
But this is a good look for the Knights. It could have been a shot opportunity, but cleared away. Okay, with a double touch. Beautiful. Great shot opportunity. Behind Seabass, we get the clear.
Like to also welcome the Knights to their own show. I'm glad you guys could make it. You didn't miss much. It's the standard, you know. The Knights
Standard
crushed their
3-0.
opponent.
I mean, yeah, it's, as usual. We haven't seen them lose a single game ever, so good to
Yeah,
see.
no, this is probably one of the biggest streaks we've ever seen in Rocket League of wins.
Yeah, it's like 500 or something. It's crazy.
The Knights are going to take it 3-0 against KCP as they move on in the bracket. Find out if they're going to be playing Charlotte Phoenix or if they're going to be playing Space Station. Charlotte Phoenix bringing this to a game number 4. It's 2-1 over there in that series, so it will be a little bit here. But let's break down what we saw here. Obviously, KCP playing without Rapid today. One of their main lineup, their starter players, was filled in, of course, by Seabass. As you know, it was a little rocky for them, I felt, especially near the end. You know, they don't play together that often with this specific roster. You know that their scrims and training has been with a different roster. So it was going to be a difficult match for them, but we have seen this matchup before. 3-1 for Pittsburgh Knights to qualify into the RLCS top 8.
With the standard roster, too.
You know, with the standard roster. So,
Yeah, so
having a 3-0 here is, you know, pretty, I guess, expected for this matchup.
Yeah, I would say, especially with the swap in with the roster, it's going to be a cleaner win for them. And 3-0 is very good to see. So now we're going to be waiting to see who they'll be facing off next. I think the pressure game was just too good in this match. And we really have to see if that will hold up against whoever wins in the top of the bracket against Charlotte and Space Station. So
just, you know, taking the assumption that we head against Space Station, what do we see here against KCP that's going to work against Space Station and that's not going to work against Space Station? What would you like to see cleaned up throughout this series?
A little more control in midfield. Like I said, we started to see more that they were passing in midfield to each other. It's those throwaways when they have the opportunity to use the space. They don't want to do that. So, and Space Station will punish you the most if you give the ball to them for free, especially in a situation where you're on the disadvantage. So to hold on the ball in the cases in the corner, like you talked about with CPS in the corners of the field, those will force in more than one player and try to break down the offense before going into thinking about going on shots and just sort of outplay the opponents to the point where they can't save the ball physically.
And now for things that they need to do right off the bat, obviously, we'll have a little bit of time in between the next match. They were doing a lot of stuff good by the end of this series where we saw ZPS and Rodoko really crushing that offense. The second that there was an opportunity to punish, Rodoko was there to finish it. Kinze playing a lot of that filler today as opposed to Rodoko. And, would you like to see this same setup? I guess if it's working, why not keep it? And how is Space Station going to shut that down that they might have to readjust? Yeah,
like you said, Kinsey's filling that role quite well. I think Rodoko's being a little more aggressive. So they're playing faster than they usually would in that case. So it's good to see. I think that could still work against Space Station in the future. Well, only time will tell, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, we talked to Reddles during the RLCS as well. And I mean no disrespect to Charlotte Phoenix right now that we're talking as if the Space Station's going to take this one. They did just take a game off of Space Station. But the likelihood is it might be. So we're talking about it just preemptively here. But we talked to Reddles during RLCS, and he talked about the PEEPS actually being a bit of a rough matchup for them. And I feel like there might be some similarities here to the Pittsburgh Knights when it comes to that aggression that we're seeing out of Rodoko. I mean, you look at Gyro and AJ, those guys are on offense. They are aggressive, and they like to do funky things. And we're seeing that from Rodoko. Is that going to be something that could hold Space Station to the wire, having that aggression from Rodoko, or do you think that aggression is going to get punished?
I think so. I think it depends on the day for Space Station, because I think they like when people give them space. So with Rodoko being more aggressive, it could actually work in their favor quite heavily. So we'll have to see if they can really get in the face of all the Space Station players to give them no space whatsoever and make sure they tightly knit their unit as they go around the field. Because if you can get one person challenging the dribbles and make sure they don't get faked by anything, and then they have the next player to follow up with the ball that's lost from the player of Space Station, then they can see that the transition from a challenge where the player is now forward on the field, and then they can get that clear down to them after they lose the possession off the ball from Space Station. So I think it could work pretty well as long as they're all very, very clear with what their intentions are about the movement around the field on offense and defense. So I'm excited to see what happens in the future and the next match coming up. But we're obviously have to wait a little bit between now since we just had such a clean sweep.
While we're waiting for that, you guys need to get on Twitter because we do have a giveaway going on for HyperX. We got some HyperX gear here. Make sure you head on over to twitter.com/KnightsGG. Retweet, follow, and take a friend on that tweet for the giveaway to be able to enter yourself. We'll be giving away that package, of course, after our next match, after the second match here. So stay tuned. Stay in chat. Hang out with ZPS. I see him over there in the chat. He's had it open the whole time. He's watching you guys. Make sure you guys are giving us energy and hanging out with him here. Find out who the winner is. But make sure you get over there every week. We're doing one of these giveaways. You want to get some of that gear, some of that swag. But you have some time to do that. You also have some time to get some water, get some snacks. We're going to do a quick break here right now. Make sure you guys come back in just a few minutes as we find out whether we're playing Charlotte Phoenix or Space Station Gaming in round number 2 as the Pittsburgh Knights journey continues. Lethamyr and Leaf, we are going to sign off for a quick break here, but we'll be back in just a few.
strike the match, ignite your life, spread your wings in the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to twitch.tv/Knights or Jinx TV, wherever you're watching from. You're awesome because you're watching the Knights journey right now through the grid week number 4. I'm Leaf. Alongside me is Lethamyr. We just saw the Pittsburgh Knights, expectively take down their opponents 3-0.
Nice.
They're going to do another one soon,
Yeah,
But
easy 3-0 once again.
Yeah, but they are playing Space Station Gaming, who just came off a 3-1 win against Charlotte Phoenix. And I'm wondering, if that shows a bit of signs of shakiness, that they didn't 3-0 sweep Lethamyr.
I mean,
We're the better team. We got 3-0.
Yeah, easy 3-0. I mean, we're looking pretty clean. We're looking strong. So hopefully in this next match, we can prove that we finally have the dub over Space Station. We've had them play. We've played them every week, so it's good to see this matchup come again. Are we a low seed? Is that why we keep facing them? Because they must be number 1 seed in North America.
It's likely. So the seeds, I think, are dependent on previous results as well as the regionals. So I think the placement of RLCS, don't quote me on this, but I think their placement of top 8 in RLCS helped, and this is why we had a round against KCP,
right?
Which isn't a G2 or a Space Station Gaming or an NRG in the first round.
Hey, but we're jumping right into it. We got game number 1 on the way, so let's see if they can finally get that W over Space Station. I'm excited to see how they play after the last match.
This is the big question. They'll be able to do it. Space Station Gaming versus Pittsburgh Knights. Game number 1 of a best of 5. This is to qualify into the top 8 single elimination bracket. And boy, oh boy, is this going to be a tough matchup. Space Station Gaming look like the best team in North America right now. A tall order for the Knights. Although coming off a 3-0 sweep against KCP, they're going to be feeling good. The momentum's still going since we're getting into this so quick.
And they're looking good, too. It's good to see, so far, a strong start from both teams. It looks like we have a good match on our hands. The clear from the side. Kinsey pops it to Arsenal. EBS space in the corner. Does miss the ball, but that clear downfield gives a bit of breathing room. That's what we like to see. Good control from ZPS. Opens up the field for Rodoko. Gets cut off by Riddle. That's players all over the field, jumping around, really getting in the face of each other. So far, I see pretty even pressure, though, from the Knights and the Space Station in this match.
Which is good. I mean, being able to hold up against Space Station Gaming is good. The question is, when are they going to go full offense? Sometimes they just send all 3 players full aggro the second that they feel like the momentum shifted in their favor. So as long as the Knights are aware of this, can make sure that if they do push up like that, they punish it, they should be fine. But sometimes it's a little overwhelming. And this is why Space Station Gaming is getting as many victories as they have.
I would say one thing that the Knights are really good at.
Oh, there's a shot.
Oh, it's a good shot opportunity. Is like right there. Is finding those openings because of the overcommitment from Space Station. And they really did catch them out off guard a lot in the previous matches of the last weeks. So it's good to see. Dunks coming through. A good shot opportunity. ZPS cleared it to the side, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wonder if that pass out to Kinsey would have been a better option.
It's tough to stay. It was a hard bounce. You see that they're keeping Space Station on their toes. So as long as they can keep this going and not break down if anything goes wrong too. That's the thing too. Like, you have this game plan, and no matter what happens here, you've got to stay strong with that.
I think the hard cuts and hard turns is something that's really going to help against Space Station Gaming, and that comes down to very, very on-point communication from the Pittsburgh Knights. Being able to cut, have a player not do full rotates is going to be what you need, but at the same time, you can end up in situations with double commits, and so far they've been good at it.
And you need a versatile onslaught to be able to find an opening against Space Station. You need to be changing up your approach because they're very good at predicting and reading ahead of the play. Like right there, Reddle's getting ready for that clear across, and Arsenal's already ready to pop it as well. So this is what they need to see. It's not a great miss by ZPS, but Roko will get demoed for his effort trying to push that down the field.
Arsenal's going to put one towards the net, though. Only one defender left. That's not going to be an easy save. And as I say it, Reynolds finds the one spot he can put at far corner. Space Station finally break through, but almost 3.5 minutes passed before they could.
That really just comes down to a miscommunication there. Rodoko gets bumped on the side, on the right side of the field, and tries to immediately recover and go for that challenge, but he's already got a teammate of Kinsey going for that challenge. And in doing so, there's 2 players, and that's where the breakdown happened.
And they're literally just talking about that it's going to be a fast-paced game. It's going to be critical that communication is on point. What a word to actually mess up on, eh? Communication.
Communication? Yeah, that or vocabulary. Those two are really rough. Or just the word speech. I mean, at that point, you're...
Is that irony? We'll call it irony.
Oh, we'll call it irony. You know, what is a bit ironic is the fact that we're the only 2 Canadians casting, and we're casting for Pittsburgh.
That's a funny.
United States.
They
company.
just know that we're good, man.
Yeah, that's true.
We're taking over. Got a Canadian on the field, too, in Rodoko.
Represent the Canucks. Great chip by Kinsey. 2 players that dunk that ball. Dual effort. Rodoko going to cut around the field. As we were talking about earlier about the early cuts, you know, it can work. Sometimes it can put you under pressure if it doesn't execute properly. Kinsey with an early dunk.
I was reminded by the Knights themselves, the man running their esports, also Canadian. Canada's greatest export is Canadians, I guess.
Yeah, there it is. This pop down the field should be the end of the first game, and Space Station will take it. Not as convincing as people might expect. And
yeah.
Like I said, the Knights always surprise us.
This is going to be where it becomes a mental challenge for Pittsburgh Knights, because now that you're down 1, you know you're so close, it can start to get frustrating saying, we could have this. Why don't we have this? And if it does go in the favor of SSG in game number 2 and still be close, that's when it almost can fall apart. So this is a big challenge moving forward. It's only going to get harder and harder mentally because, again, as I said, they have that battle of knowing that it's been close, but they're not finding that finish. And they almost did. You saw early on they were looking for those spots. ZPS almost had one connected in that far bottom right corner. Unfortunately, the exact mirror happened and it went into the bottom of their right corner. But you're right, only 1 goal difference for Space Station Gaming. These hard cuts, this fast aggression is doing well against Space Station Gaming. And I think it's exactly the same situation that Reynolds was talking about when it comes to teams like the PEEPS. That hard aggression can really shut them down from being able to do what they want on the field.
And they were under pressure that game. Space Station had most of the saves, so a bit of a difference compared to what we saw last match, where at the start of the series, it was the Knights under pressure. So good to see them come out strong. I wouldn't say that that loss was, you know, the credit of Space Station playing overly well. I would say that, you know, it was just a good opportunity, and the Knights are really looking like they could come back in the series quite convincingly too.
Ooh, that fake from Sipical almost worked. Strong defense. There's a fake. Reynolds is almost going to do it to him.
It's so good from CPS too, because he cleared that ball away from him. The fake opportunity was there, but shut down by the Knights.
And the fact that even after these scrambly defensive moments, the Knights are still able to transition themselves onto some pressure at midfield. This is really good look from the Pittsburgh Knights. They're holding themselves together really well right now.
A much better showing so far compared to the last few weeks. The aggression and the 50-50 game is there. You can see right there, ZPS winning out 1, winning out 2. Typical last on the ball. We'll get some free possession, but there's those openings that Space Station are showing. A small stitch.
Yeah. The thing is punishing those. I mean, you even look there, it's the expectation. Sometimes it can come down to a 50. Rodoko might have been able to score that had he been lower, but expected that high clear shot, just top corner, not quite in. And that would have been the lead there for the Knights.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, so close, especially when if it's far off. It's like, okay, you missed, but when it's that close,
I wish the
kinda
net
hurts
was
a
like
bit.
a millimeter wider.
yeah. That's going to be a bump, though. That's going to be an open shot. No. No follow-up. Sipical will be able to clear it. What a great bump, though. This is the aggression. Like, see, Reynolds needs to be stopped. He's not going to be full reign of that backboard, and he sends her down.
Yeah, Sipical with a great clear. Down to Reynolds, and people at this level, they don't miss those. You've got an open backboard. Unfortunately, it's going to go in the net, so it's a spray and pray at that point. You need to have someone defending that opportunity. But too quick of a cutout for the Knights to deal with. And they will be down in game 2. And they really don't want to lose this game because the match point would be really tough to come back from against Space Station, especially the #1 team in North America.
Oh, absolutely. The second that you end up being a 1-goal difference and down 2-0 a series, I feel like at that point, it takes, again, the strongest of minds. I was talking about it before during the break, to be able to come back. But it looks like
is there a Rule 1?
Is there one going on right now? Do we have a 2v2?
I think there is a Rule 1 over on the side.
There is indeed.
Yep, there is.
Respect.
Look at that.
Rodoko and Reynolds holding the Rule 1 right now as the rest of the play. Oh, there's EPS to break it up.
I think that was actually in the favor of the Knights to keep that 2v2 going.
It might have been. Who did we have then? Arsenal and Sipical?
Arsenal Typical can be very, very strong, but, you know, playing a 2v2 in a 3v3 is different than playing 2v2. It feels different. I don't know how to explain it, but that, you know, maybe you feel confident. And with who was the player on our team? It was Kinsey, I believe, right?
It was no, it was Rodoko. It was one of our finishers, right? So,
right. So that could actually hurt us, plague us a little bit too. So
yeah, I wonder if ZPS recognized that and said, "I'm coming through." I will always say the one okay way to break it up is if someone else breaks it up, but the players involved need to hold it.
Yeah. Even in sumo, when you're playing 1v1,
sure, you gotta hold
together.
it.
You gotta hold it, or else you're cursed.
Yeah. But back to seriousness, we have 1 minute of gameplay left. And we're only down by 1 goal. Pittsburgh Knights still holding up really well. This is impressive display. Despite it being this close, Arsenal is going to put another one away, though. May have cast or cursed it there.
Brody?
Final minute of gameplay. Don't even talk to me.
Brody, today is not your day.
Don't even.
I think it's coming. The caster curse is shifted over to you. I don't mind that. Good shot opportunity. Kinsey with a good clear.
I'm gonna get fired.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you and me both, buddy.
We're both out of here.
Oh, it's a good opportunity. Open shot, but Reynolds clears off the backboard. Awkward position for Sipical. Arsenal bails him out. Sipical with the control, the double touch. A demo mid-air too, so good opportunity here. Rodoko with the bump.
So
Still
close.
saved by Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm not sure how SSG is holding off. And his attacks, and the last defender, Kinsey, I believe it was forced out. Look at how he just gets chased down. Reynolds looking, oh my goodness, looking like virtuoso on the field right now. Just body checks Kinsey out of the way, and a third goal is going to sink in. And this is where the real mental fortitude is going to have to come through for the Knights, as Space Station Gaming, with 10 seconds left, they're going to win game number 2, and they're going to set themselves at match point as they look for a sweep over the Knights. We knew this wouldn't be easy.
There's 1 goal.
And at least they're not shut out. That's the important thing.
Yeah, it's good to get 1 goal in there.
Connect with the net. You know that you can finish it, and that's a good feeling heading into these next games. A reverse sweep is mandatory.
It's going to be tough, but it is possible. And as we've seen before, they've went to Game 5 against Space Station in the past. So there's openings in the defense of Space Station. I know they've solidified themselves as a very, very dominant force in North America, but you know, everyone's human. There are openings. There's times where, you know, miscommunications or
mistakes happen.
Exactly.
The thing is, and this is where it comes down to, I think, at least in my eyes right now, the Pittsburgh Knights are pacing up no problem to, or maybe it is a problem for them. We don't know what it's like for them right now. Maybe they are struggling, but for the Pittsburgh Knights, they are paced up against Space Station Gaming right now. They are keeping toe-to-toe in the action. The issue is, again, finishing off those shots. The opportunities have been there, but there's been no finish, no capitalization, and no full punish. They've been close, very close multiple times, and it's going to come down to making sure those opportunities are punished on. Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, it's just not the shots. It's also what happens after the shot, right? Because you're expecting the players from Space Station to save the ball a lot of the time because of the reaction times and the way they're set up on defense. You have to predict what's going to happen afterwards. You know, plan your attack according to what's going to happen after the defensive clear. And is that a good opportunity? Is that a good shot placement? Think about where the ball is going to go afterwards.
Space Station Gaming up 2 games to none, sorry, in this best of 5. I'm leaking the script here. Reverse sweeps. I don't even want to say it. I'm going to curse it.
You already did.
Yeah, that's why I stopped halfway. I'm fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Pittsburgh Knights looking for the reverse sweep. Holding up pace. Just trying to finish off those goals. Hopefully they listen to the advice Lethamyr just dropped for them. They're probably not listening to us. But maybe they heard through the ether
You almost made me spit out my soup.
Lethamyr just casually eating soup.
Yeah, I gotta eat dinner. I gotta stay healthy. Healthy gamer. You know, I skipped that on lunch, so. Chicken corn chowder. So it's technically a stew, but there's a free open goal there for Doko. I don't mean free, but a great 50-50.
It was free because the power of soup.
That's what it is right there. Sybil just couldn't get up in time. That 50-50 was way too strong. And wow, we're getting off to a good start. Showing that the script is true.
Real talk, I want some soup now.
I'm sorry.
And I gotta wait another like 5 hours until the grand finals is open, until the Knights are done winning.
You get to go buy. You gotta get yourself some food on the break. You gotta get a snack, get a drink.
I am nourished.
Yeah, you need to stay nourished and hydrated. It's important.
I'm nourished by the Knights. The gameplay is rejuvenating.
Nourished by the Knights. That's a phrase right there.
That's a hashtag.
So we're up 1-0 in this game, game number 3. And Space Station are at match point, so we need to see a complete reverse sweep from the Knights. It's going to be difficult, especially with that miss in the back corner. Arsenal and Reynolds connecting, and unfortunately we are at 1-1 in this game, making it even more difficult for this comeback to surmount.
Yeah, just small misses like that are going to be punished. We see it again with other teams that go toe-to-toe with Space Station. You know, if they're not getting punished on theirs, and they're punish you on those small mistakes, and they will punish you, they're going to come out just ahead. But Pittsburgh Knights going to score another one. A quick answer. They didn't like that the game was tied. ZPS holds it close instead of banging it down into the corner. That's what you like to see. A beautiful 50-50. And that's a goal for the Knights.
Yeah, the space used there from ZPS. That's what I'm talking about. The punishment in the space that Space Station gives to you on that offensive side. You need to use that more often in the arsenal of the Knights. It's a good cutoff. Reynolds will pop it. That's typical with a clear. Can stay ready to receive that ball. Hits it well off that curve, so now a 50-50 in mid could give an opportunity for a shot. Good communication by Rodoko and ZPS to leave that open for ZPS for the shot. Boost steal. What a steal there.
Well, it was great because you saw Arsenal really wanted that. He's sitting at 0. He was hoping the slow play would bait them out.
What you like to see, ZPS is super far back too, so he keeps that pressure because he returns the clear immediately after the defense.
Drop down, is that punished? ZPS straight off the top. Rodoko left the play. Kinsey will follow up.
And there it is.
Bounce shot, that's sent home. Pittsburgh Knights up 3-1 against Space Station Gaming. The reverse sweep mandatory, and they've started it. Well, almost. 2 minutes left. I got excited. I got a little ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, you keep revealing what's going on here. You gotta.
Yeah, I need to put the script away. I need to stop looking at it before.
Well, we're past mid. Oh, go ahead.
The halfway mark. So this is a great look right now for the Knights. We knew that they had the potential. It's just been about punishing and finishing them off, and they've started to do that, and this is a good sign for the rest of this series.
A super strong pop across from Reynolds. Unfortunately, that will kill their play, so now the Knights are on attack once again. We should see just what will happen here in the next minute and a half. We're hoping to keep that pressure away, as Kinsey will receive that clear from Rodoko. Keeps the ball close. So we talked about this earlier about how keeping the ball close and receiving the passes tight in open space will give them a chance. But great open save from free jump save from Rodoko. Keeps that scoreline 1-3 or 3-1. Sorry.
You got a little tushy clenching on that one. Space Station put on some pressure. You know it's just going to get worse now as that final minute of gameplay approaches. CPS tried for a fourth goal, but loses possession.
Every second is important here. We see misses from Rodoko. This could open up some space for Space Station, unfortunately.
Down to one. Good. Cut
There we
off.
go.
Pressure from CPS defensively. That's what we like to see. Cut the angles, but what a 50. That goes straight into the hands of Reynolds, and he just slides that one home.
Great touch by Reciprocal around. It wasn't even a 50-50.
It wasn't even a
just a
50.
clean
Just
win.
just a beautiful pass.
That last second ceiling shot flicked down. It's hard to expect. Now 42 seconds left. They really have to hold this defense. Good catch. Rodoko goes for the 50-50. Pinch.
Ooh, missed
Oh,
there.
missed.
That's might be a shot miscommunication. Reynolds can't get the angle he needs, but everyone leaves the net. Shot saved. Another 50 to the side. I can't believe that didn't go in. The Knights hold off, but they're stuck on the back foot right now. I wonder what the boost situation is like as SSG pummels the net. Hard clear. This is going to buy them some time. Can they move it down? That's going to be no one home. A fourth goal put away. 8 seconds left with only a kickoff in their way. Space Station Gaming looking like they might concede the start of a reverse sweep. Pittsburgh Knights looking good.
Yeah, with 8 seconds left, there's all they have to do is get a really good solid 50-50 on this kickoff, stall some time, and they've got this clear win moving into 1-2 in the series. And with that much time still on the clock, and it's up on the side of Space Station, that will be the end of the game, and they secure their first win in this series.
Pittsburgh Knights starting the reverse sweep. Space Station Gaming conceding a game. They were up 2-0 fairly quickly as we had minimal goals scored in game number 1 and game number 2. And now it seems like the pinched hose of goals has been released and they've all come out in game number 3. 6 goals total, 4 in the favor of Pittsburgh Knights as they again have that speed, and we knew that that speed was fine. We knew that they were on par with that. It was finishing off those goals. What was it that you saw that has allowed them to actually start punishing any of those small mistakes?
It's just those 50-50 game that they have going on right now. Is they find these openings to keep the pressure, and it's making Space Station rush more than they're used to. Mm-hmm. So you even saw some open shots that were available for Sipical, and he wasn't able to finish it off. So maybe feeling the pressure from the Knights here as we move into the next game. I expect to see the similar game plan. They need to make sure they're on the tips of their toes, though, because if there's any changes in the pressure from Space Station, they need to keep aware of that and make sure they cover their bases.
Game number 4, Pittsburgh Knights working on a reverse sweep. Space Station trying to shut that down early with the first goal. Ooh, chance now for ZPS. He just tries to send that one home and at least forces Space Station back on defense. Reynolds looking like his car turned into a Falls Guys jelly bean and he lost all control. There's going to be a bump though, and that will send it home. Somehow they maintain control and turn it around. Arsenal put the first goal away.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for DPS. Trying to go for that clear, but bumped out from typical. There's not much you can do there unless you avoid it. And when you're trying to avoid bumps, the best time to avoid it is when you're on the ground. You have the most control, the most time to avoid it. Once you're in the air, it's quite telegraphed where you're going to go. So that's where typical came in and just decimated the defense of the Knights. Kinsey cutting that off. Really important touch. see Space Station's keeping it to space. A little unorthodox by Arrows in the back corner. To open up some space from that missed pinch. Reynolds will catch and try to clear on the field, but this midline from Space Station, I mean from Knights, is doing well. Great clear, last second ditch effort from Rodoko, but oh my.
That was a miss. That would have been a goal for Space Station. Again, all of these small touches are so important. It's got to be so exhausting to play at this level. I guess you know, to play at this level for so long, making sure, like, the stress for getting all of those small touches.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't do it anymore, man.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's not why I don't do it anymore, but, you know, I'm loving the content I'm doing. But, you know, it's stressful. It's a lot of work to stay at that level, and the communication, it's a lot on your voice, it's a lot on your health, your mentality, everything. It needs to be on par for this level of play. This game is one of the fastest paced games in the esports realm.
Yep.
There's no time to wait, or no lapse of judgment.
You don't have a planning period. It's just go, go, go.
Yeah, even strategies are out the window at this point. You've practiced all you need to, but you're now in the game, and it's really just whoever can naturally come out on top. 50-50 by Rodoko off of Arsenal. Players bunched up for Space Station. He was trying to bait him out. Reynolds just gonna clear, but back in the hands of the Knights. Unexpected touch.
This physical play is going to start getting frustrated. I'm surprised the Knights are holding off so well with all this aggro and physical play. Rodoko off the backboard, a hard read by Reynolds as he puts that one to the side. What a touch from Arsenal. He's solo playing this one up. ZPS has to be so careful. He knew that passing play was there, and he tried to cut it while also cutting the angle. Arsenal had so many options. You can't blame ZPS for this one.
It's just so many options he has to cover, like you said, and ZPS had to be careful of that midfield pass. It's really important that the Space Station players in midfield threaten that pass to come out. It's really important in that position too.
I actually like the attempt too. He had the backflip there to try to see if he could front flip to get out in front of the passing play, or backflip if he did need to kill momentum, but there was just enough space for Arsenal to put it through. 2 minutes left and 2 goals down. Pittsburgh Knights on this reverse sweep have some work to do now. They've come close a couple times. They just need to keep their heads in the game. They've done it this long. Push just for another minute 30.
Still a minute and a half left. A bit of a miss, but Arsenal quick to attack after that miss from Reynolds. Sorry. A chance for a double tap. With the midfield pass. 2 players coming from Space Station, so there's some pressure looming. Arsenal pushes up. Just the confidence from Space Station. So quick to attack. Awkward chance in mid. DPS to follow.
Look, center. Rodoko's there. Quickly cut off by Sipical. 50 seconds left now for the Pittsburgh Knights to carry on the reverse sweep. They've got 1 game. Looking for another no punish there for ZPS. He tries to get the dunk now. Desperation will start to come up from the Knights. We'll see what they can cook up. Kinsey up quick. No follow through. He's out of booth. ZPS slow play off the wall. Out to Rodoko. No finish. Space Station Gaming holding strong on defense. 25 seconds left now. As Pittsburgh Knights continue to mount attack after attack, and no finish there, just out of the reach.
And with 2 players committed now, there's so much space for Space Station to push down the field. It's looking like this will be the end of the journey on the upper side of the bracket for the Knights, unfortunately, but still moving down to the lower half. And they'll be facing the winner of, I believe, Alpine and the X set.
One final goal to end it off. Pittsburgh Knights, a valiant effort against Space Station Gaming, but Space Station Gaming will take it 3-1 to move on into the top 8. And let's be real, though, the Knights holding it off this close is definitely something you like to see. This is not easy for any team. So being able to bring it this close each game and to take a game off as well is a really good sign for the team. In all honesty, they have legitimately looked stronger and stronger and stronger every single week. So Space Station Gaming will move on. Pittsburgh Knights, as you just mentioned, will have to try again from the lower bracket. As their journey's not done yet, there is another chance. They do have either the winner of XSET or Alpine, as you mentioned, to face off against. Alpine was our expected one. So looking like predictions are coming true here, Lethamyr. Actually,
so far, yeah.
one to one of all the predictions.
Yeah, so it's looking like we're gonna have a rematch regardless of what happens here. But either matchup, I think they're pretty confident moving into that to move further into that qualification spot. It's good to see that they're looking confident. They're looking better as we push through these brackets every week. So after facing SPACESTATION 4 times, I think they finally understood.
This is what I was going to say. I feel like this is honestly for the best, because right now the Knights are getting the most experience possible from the best team in North America. That to me is good. You're getting to learn their play style. You're getting to learn what you need to do more than any other teams, and that's going to help grow the Pittsburgh Knights a lot. So a lot of people are like, "Oh goodness, this is no good." But I feel like overall, with the perspective of this entire RLCSX season, and with how long each of these grid things are, 9 weeks, this is honestly probably for the better.
Yeah, and I was going to say also that this is probably their best chance so far to make it into the qualification of playoffs, because we're sitting at that final qualification round, and these are 2 teams that we've won against. So to be in a very strong position to move into playoffs, it's looking really, really good. Either team they face here, I think we've got their number. So
yeah,
lots of opportunities to push into that top 8.
It's looking good for the Pittsburgh Knights right now. Let's talk about what we saw off that last one, man. I feel like it was exactly what we talked about. The cuts, the speed was looking great against Space Station Gaming. It just came down to a couple chances and punishments. I love that the Rule 1 made the replays, by the way. But it came down just to a couple punished chances that were missed out on. They did seem to finish it up or start getting a little more clean on that and capitalizing on those opportunities near the end. But of course, Space Station Gaming had a lot of momentum there. So for the Knights, again, what do we see that we'd like to see them carry over into their next match?
That aggression, man. Their pressure is really good. Their pressure game's been pretty good. It's just those openings because of their pressure that they need to work on. This is the same story as before. I think it's just consistency at this point. They're putting up a really good fight against SPACESTATION in the series too. Like the 50-50 game has been really improved, which just has to do with the spacing on the field. They're much more speedy on the field. They're right in the right position to attack as soon as possible. So I think the rotation's working really well. I think that could move into Alpine or XSET pretty well, and I think it would translate perfectly into a win to push into that qualification.
Is there anything that could shut that down? Because I know sometimes it's you get into a certain pace and then you go up another opponent and they like either slow it down or speed it up, and that can almost be not good. That can actually cause problems.
I mean, it's sort of like well, it's funny you say that, because I feel like it really comes down to, if one team is playing fast, you can do many different things. It's just if you do it well enough. There's playing it faster than them, so you're just doing what they're doing, but better. Or you could play it slower and do that better. Because you got to think, no matter what it is, just a better performing team that's going to win here. You have a team that's playing slower but taking control in a way that's going to make the faster teams just completely fall apart. But at the same point, you could take it in the other way, where the team's playing faster could destroy a team that's taking their time. So it really comes down to just outperforming at the end of the day. Whatever adaptation you want to take is up to the team. And the Knights look like they want to be a faster team that's more aggressive for the most part. So just doing that well and tightly knit, like I talked about, just have a very, very good unit as you move up the field and decide when to break off and just kill the play. So yeah, I think against XSET and Alpine, though, they've had that pretty clear line where they're like, okay, this is when we need to go back. This is when we need to attack. So I'm confident in this next series.
Well, there's something we got to do before that next series happens. We got to, of course, announce our winner. Now, I'm going to do the drum roll, Lethamyr, and I'm going to get you to announce our winner here of the HyperX giveaway. We do one of these every single week after the second match. So if you guys are watching on wherever from, Jinx TV or on twitch.tv/Knights, always make sure you're entering this by heading over to twitter.com/KnightsGG. But of course, this week's one is done. We need to announce our winner. Chat, I need the drum roll. We're not going to start this until the chat's doing the drum roll. There might also be a delay, so I'm going to fill until I start seeing that drum roll. There it is. These guys are on it. These guys are. I'm going to give you a drum roll here too, Lethamyr. Who won the second week of our giveaways?
So, wait for the drum roll.
I'm trying.
Oh, you're doing it. Okay, that's so quiet. Okay,
I don't have a loud drum. I just got it. It's not tuned yet. Okay.
Congratulations to Harry Besant won this week. This week's winner. I'll put it in the chat here. This is the, I mean, it's on Twitter, so I'll just put his name. This is the winner for this week. Congratulations for the HyperX gear. Like we said, if you want to join in the next week of giveaways, make sure to join on KnightsGG on Twitter. Make sure you follow them, tag a friend in the tweet, and retweet the giveaway post. So lots of great content and lots of great opportunities to win something in the future. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm really enjoying casting here. It's been a blast with you, Leaf. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it too, and you get to win some free stuff as well.
Is that actually Solo Wolf in our chat? That might actually, apparently, that's our winner. So unless they're just
is that really
feigning happiness, well, if it is you, congratulations on the win.
Well, there you go.
That's awesome. Yeah, super stoked. Always good to see someone super stoked for a win. That's awesome to see the actual reactions. Congratulations. See, this is why you enter in these. It's real things. It always feels like a mystical, like, someone won, but I never know who it is. We know who it is. The Solo Wolf right there. It's always good. Make sure you guys are entering. But while we find out who our next matchup is going to be against, it's either XSET or ALPINE Esports. 2-1 right now in the series for XSET. We're going to go to a quick little break, and then when we come back, of course, we have more Pittsburgh Knights action. So on behalf of Lethamyr and myself, Leaf, we'll see you in just a few.
Turn around, I can't see your face. Tell me, where did you go? Was it something I did, something I said that made it all fall down? Baby, I need to know, 'cause I'm losing my faith. And the more that I give, the less I get. So tell me we can save this. Where's my happy ending? Can't go on pretending anymore. But always said that love takes work. It's been a bumpy ride. I know how hard you tried. But holding on just makes it worse. It's best to walk away if it's our time to say goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Knights broadcast of week number 4 of the Grid. I'm Leaf. Alongside me is Lethamyr, and we welcome everyone to join us on Jinx TV and, of course, twitch.tv/Knights as we follow the Knights' journey through the bracket. Just to reiterate, Lethamyr, we saw him go through the upper bracket 3-0 against Kansas City Pioneers, and we just finished watching them play against Space Station Gaming 3-1. And in all honesty, even though it was a loss, the Knights are looking good, Lethamyr.
Yeah, they're looking good. Like, they're looking strong. So I talked about this before the break, is that either Alpine or Exec coming out of this bracket, I think we were pretty confident moving into this lower bracket run. With Alpine taking the 3-1 win in the lower bracket, I expect to see a similar play style that we did to the last time we played them. I think it was last week or the week before. So some good early aggression, and just take over the field and sort of smother Alpine before they're able to come out and break away.
Well, let's talk about that, and then let's take a look at the lower bracket and just see exactly what's going on down there. Of course, Charlotte Phoenix ended up down there, as well as KCP, as they face off against each other. Sonics and KCP now facing off, as Charlotte Phoenix has dropped out. Exet just lost to Alpine Esports, and the Sonics looking to make some redemption there. They lost against G2 Esports 3-0, and we'll see if they can make it through. These are all qualifying matches now, Lethamyr. Sonics, KCP, one's making out for there, and then Pittsburgh Knights, Alpine, one's making it out through here. You just talked about, of course, Alpine Esports and the Pittsburgh Knights going up against us. What do you expect? You seem to be pretty confident right now, which, I mean, you should be, as we're casting for them, but pretty confident that the Knights should have this one under their belt.
Yeah, I think they're looking pretty good. I think that we have a good idea of how to play against them and keep winning against them, because every time we've played against them, we've been pretty confident. The series have gone close, but at the same time, I'd say it's a more dominant series for the Knights. So we'll have to see if that continues as we move into this first match.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Knights going up against Alpine Esports. As Lethamyr mentioned, that Pittsburgh Knights coming off such a hard series, but keeping it close against Space Station Gaming. We know momentum. It's going to be in their favor as long as they were able to stay energized throughout this break here before this next match starts. It's going to be an important thing. Sometimes you can cool down at that point and start off a bit slower. But I think the boys, their minds are sharp today. We've been watching them play. They've been looking out for each other with passing plays. Rodoko's been super aggro on that offense, having a lot of cuts. Communication's been pretty key. We've only seen a couple double commits here and there on defense that obviously got punished by Space Station Gaming, but hopefully there's a bit more leeway with Alpine, and more so, hopefully, that they don't make those mistakes coming into this series. So
I was going to say that the mistakes on double commits are actually very limited compared to what we saw on.
Yes.
We're seeing more and more, consistency on the back end and the back foot. So looking really, really clean. I'm really excited to see just what we can really expect from this series is to see that consistency come out and, start to smother Alpine before they can really get anything going. I know they've been talking smack on the other stream. I heard them, so.
Were they talking smack?
Oh, yeah, of course they were.
The casters were? Who's casting Alpine ones?
F dot and Turtle.
Oh my god, those aren't even real casters. Like what they think they can? They think that they can talk smack? Okay.
Oh, you did not just say that. I'm
we
ready
got
for the uproar.
We got a washed up player and a B stream host. Come on. Come on. If you're over there watching, you're in the wrong spot. I'm saying it because I love them.
Someone in chat didn't even say Turtle. They said Toodle. So
it's Toodle.
rip Toodle. Yeah, I mean might as well just whatever his name is. I don't know. Is it Turtle? Toodle? I don't know.
I'm more just so everyone knows. I'm not. Lethamyr didn't laugh. He was supposed to laugh at me saying this, so you guys knew it was a joke.
Yeah, I'm letting the chat. I'm letting the viewers laugh for that one because
I went full ham on them. But yeah, no. This is gonna be too easy. The Knights are looking too strong right now. I'm not even worried about this. I'm not even worried about this.
Yeah, I think this one's a good win for us. I'm hoping anyway. We don't want to jinx it here. I think they're looking pretty good. They're looking consistent. Hoping for a 3-0, but I could suffice with a 3-1. Just if it happens, it happens.
We want to see what chat though. Let's get you guys involved here. How do you think this one's going to go? What's the score line for the Knights when they beat Alpine? Is it going to be 3-2, 3-1, or 3-0? We're going for the full sweep, get this over with, and get into that final bracket. We did top 8 in regionals. We can do it again today here. Kind of curious what people think. 3-2. You think it's going to be close? 7-4? Right? Somebody can't do math. 3-2s? We think it. Chats think we're going to game 5. I don't know if I like that. That's too close for me. If we're going to game 5 and winning, that means we got more matches to go on. My heart needs a little bit of leeway for the rest of the day.
Yeah, we gotta calm it down. We don't have to do overboard in this match and then be tired for the rest of the day. We gotta close games, but convincing dominant wins here.
Yeah, I'll take the 3-1 guess. Make it a challenge. Keep the Knights on their toes, but let's get it over with. Let's move on. But we are waiting for the players to get on the field right now.
Actually, we're waiting for the people that we said before. The casters aren't here, so.
Wait, the F Dot and Turtle are not here?
Nope. The players are. The players are all here.
All right, I'm gonna call you on this. They won't be in there. We're not in the lobby.
Oh, whoever's viewing it.
Oh, gotcha.
Chenzi, there you are.
Oh my God! Come on, Alpine. What are you guys doing over there?
What's going on?
You need to look at a professional broadcast. This is what it looks like. Take it in, and now try to replicate it.
Soak it in. Here we go.
But yeah, Alpine Pittsburgh Knights. Just to bring it back a bit more to seriousness, let's talk a little bit more about what we're going to see on the field right off the bat. Alpine obviously is a pretty aggressive team themselves. Percy, Jordan, and Magic Bear. These guys are all mechanical players that know what to do on the field, off the walls. Is there anything you're worried about them starting off strong with that might cause problems for the Pittsburgh Knights?
I think you got to look out for the consistency of Jordan and the malleability of Magic Bear on the field, and then Percy I think is that filler like we talked about before. So as we start into this game here, it'd be a very explosive start, I would imagine.
You're right. It's already, the ball was only on the ground for kickoff. 15 seconds it was in the air. As Pittsburgh Knights face off against Alpine Esports in a best of 5, this is a qualification match for the top 8. From there on out, it'll be all best of 7s. Almost an attack there for Alpine, but the Pittsburgh Knights get some bumps to shut it off. ZPS looking for the solo play. We'll see. That pass comes center, miss from Rodoko. It's going to make it really hard for Kinsey as he also misses that one straight down. Of course, it's going to go in. We saw 2 missed touches there from the Knights. That's not the way you want to start it off.
Yeah, you don't like to see 2 back-to-back misses too, and then ZPS just has too much to cover, and Percy gets a really good double touch. That first pops over one player, then he's got a lot of space to work with. You can't give him that many opportunities to outplay the entire team.
1 minute in, Alpine takes the first goal. Had a lot of good chances already. Again, just missed on some of those small touches. Caused problems. Good patience there from Kinsey. He tries to send it up high, but Magic Bear is going to get in the way.
You see Alpine was way too pushed up there too. So it was a good opportunity to break away. Now Jordan with some space. Goes for the pop on one. TBS makes a good save.
He's used all his boost to get to it though, and he doesn't get the second touch. Oh my goodness, off the post. Pittsburgh Knights surviving from Alpine's inaccuracy. And they turn it around, almost a shot. Counterattack. Thwarted by Alpine. Back and forth. You talked about explosive gameplay. It's just been from offense to offense for both teams here. As they both do a push and pull. ZPS trying to push one away, but that's not going to happen. Still trailing by a goal. Pittsburgh Knights looking for their first of the series.
Now Jordan pushed up the field. Another attack starting to mount for Alpine, but down the field we go with CPS and Rodoko pass across. Blocked out by Jordan. First with some space to catch. Want some mechanics to get that clear. Rodoko follows up. Jordan with a quick counter. Looping around getting that boost steal. So see some pressure from Alpine, but broken up pretty early by DPS and Kinsey. Kinsey able to block it off. Rodoko with the clear. Gives his team some space to grab some boost. This is where they need to reposition.
That's a shot. ZPS!
Set up.
Sinks it away. First goal. I'm cutting you off because I'm excited. Just a banger of a shot. Magic Bear had no chance. The ZPS was there so fast. And we're tied up. 2 minutes left to bring it back. It's what we like to see.
We have DPS coming back to midfield, but Percy with the pass off the sidewall, following up himself. Bit of a fake from Jordan. Just too many opportunities, too many options, and unfortunately the Knights couldn't cover it.
See, we were silent up until that goal just because we were trying to replicate the Alpine esports energy from their casting. Because we knew a goal was coming.
I mean, if we do want to do that, we could just leave the call real quick. Why are we even here?
I am totally down for the grid becoming this.
Oh my goodness. What have we done, Brody? We're the only Canadians. We have to band together. This is not...
Yeah, we have to...
not how we should be representing the Canucks.
We can't stand for this. It's us against the world. And we have the Knights to back us up. Two goals now for Alpine, 1 goal lead with that final minute approaching. And as I say it, 3 goals now in for Alpine, just squeaking one by. Rodoko turned the wrong way, couldn't get his car in the way, maybe expecting a faster shot to come out. And again, it seems just to be the defense a little weaker right now for the Pittsburgh Knights, and I'm wondering if they're expecting to turn upfield a little bit quacker.
Quacker. A little bit quacker. You know what?
A little bit quicker of the field.
Quack transitions right here from Pittsburgh Knights. A 50-50 demo attempt. The Alpine is looking really strong in this first match. Hopefully Knights can bring it back, but they seem to be slowing down the field a lot here. The play is changing in pace.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's what I was trying to get at, is that, you know, coming off that last match against Space Station, the pace is just so fast all the time that this is why I tried to bring up the thought of, like, you know, if the pace changes, it can really disrupt how you play.
Yeah, and when the players on Alpine are slowing the ball down so often. Oh my goodness, but what a 50-50. There's still 90 seconds left with that goal opening, so, you know, they might make a shut up here, which would be good for us if they can bring it back.
Nice, what a 50. That was just a beautiful punish there. Magic Bear cut that on the inside, not what he wanted to do. Maybe what he wanted to do, but not the right decision. And ZPS just slams his nose into it. That sends home. 15 seconds left with a kickoff. Momentum reset. Chance? No double top. That was straight to the net. There was someone on the backboard anyways. It was saved. Clear back to mid. ZPS needs to be up early. He's not. If this touches the ground, game number 1 will go to Alpine. And there it is.
So
Alpine taking the first game.
That first early lead held them strong at the end here, did the Alpine squad. And as you can see from the score lines, Percy pulling out a wonderful three goal, I don't know what you want to call it, like just absolute domination for his team, because he's been all over the field, covering every option. At the same side, CPS pulling out a good scoreline there too. 2 goals to 3 saves. So I think the pressure game just isn't there for the Knights this game. A lot of throwaway. And I'm not talking about just like being up on the other side of the field. I'm talking about making the Alpine players second guess themselves, make them have to, you know, position differently, position awkwardly, open up those spaces for those opportunities. And we'll see if this game will be any different.
Again, I'd like to see just a little bit more clean on the defense. It did feel a little scrambly at times, and that could have been a result of Alpine pressure. But at the same time, they should be used to it, and they dealt with it a lot better against Space Station Gaming. So controlling the ball, even from their own end, is going to be a start, and then connecting with each other on offense. And as you said, instead of throwing the ball away. So panic touches here.
Yeah, and there you go. Just slowing on the play to force in 1 or 2 players. As the pass and play comes downfield, big commitment by Alpine. Could be a chance. 50-50 going towards net. Just for the clear.
ZPS, seemingly the one with his head in the game a lot here. He's been able to pace pretty well here. It's up to the other 2 now. Just make sure that they're, as we said, not panicking on some of those touches, not jumping into the ball when they shouldn't, especially if the ball's on the ground. Take it a bit slower. Force the player to make a decision instead of just diving into it.
Awkward play here. Good chance for the Knights. Cleared off to the side. Magic Bear doing work on defense here. Jordan forcing out 1. See, Jordan was 0 boost there, and he immediately flicked the ball and just tries to steal that boost, keep the pressure. Bit of a miss for Magic Bear. Will open up some space for Kinsey. The downfield to ZPS.
Got the pass though, shot. That's in. Kinsey sinks away the first goal. Great playmaker abilities from CPS. He's been doing this every single series we watch him. Great shot. Pittsburgh Knights up 1-0 in game number 2.
Finding those openings. So we're now up in the up in this game, in this for a second game of the series.
We could be up in the series.
Yeah, sure.
If we just change production, if we just change the dots, does that work? That's evidence, right? We can just
confirmation from production. They did say yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's just put the dots up there, so it's like we won, and then Liquipedia will record it.
They'll believe it.
Look, we actually did win like 20-1. This is what you like to see.
Oh, that's great. I like all the dots. That looks really clean. I mean, you gotta know that Liquipedia is watching our stream and not Alpine's, right? So we have full control here. Victory writes history, right? And Percy with the clear to the side. Chance for Magic Bear. Jordan trying to slow the ball down. Shot far post. Percy catches. Percy follow up 2. Leaving that ball for... Oh no, not, Jordan actually decided to turn with 0 boost there, so... It works out. You good, Brody?
Yeah, I was just thinking about Alpine casting and my body tried to get it out.
Unfortunately, did you fall asleep?
No, I was coughing.
Oh, I see.
I'm like, do you not cough? Like, is that not a normal thing to hear?
Oh yeah, I mean I didn't hear it, so one of those silent coughs, silent but deadly. God, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
It's a different type of cough.
Good
1:30.
shot.
We still have Pittsburgh Knights up 1-0. Alpine up 1-0 in the series. Best of 5. Looking for a second goal here. What a save from Percy. And that's a flip reset over the top.
Oh, but Jordan tried to go for the bump as well, so that will slow down the play for Alpine. And a minute left here. It's another chance. Bit of a miss.
Ooh,
Awkward
yeah.
play. Nice
Had a few
making-
of these in this series.
The change of pace might be too much. Good touch to the
Threaded.
corner from Rodoko.
This is the best of 5, which means they have time to get adjusted to it. You just don't want to have to end up in a reverse sweep situation, but with 30 seconds left, should be able to hold this one off. I say as Caster Curse takes full effect.
Well, you know who's to blame here if that happens, so I'm sitting comfortably. That's all I'm going to say right now.
No, I countered it with calling out the Caster Curse.
Oh, I see
Wait, but
that
then I just
works.
canceled it again by talking about it.
Well, you're just stuck in a loop, man. You can't win here. The last chance for Jordan, passed in mid. First he might drop it to the side. Great clear by
Good
Rodoko,
stop.
and that will be the end of the game. No chance for Alpine to take that back, even with that spawn. But now we're now one apiece for each team here, and we see the pressure mounting for the Knights. 10 saves on the side of Alpine,
Yeah, wow.
and 4 shots per player on the Knights.
Well, same for both. It was just it was a lot. 12, yeah, 12 shots total. Oh my goodness. That was some back and forth, and I think honestly, Lethamyr, to me, the biggest issue is again some of those missed touches. There were quite a few of those on the defensive half for the Pittsburgh Knights, and something very uncharacteristic to the way they've been playing today. It seems to be like a complete different situation now for them defensively.
Maybe they're trying to play too fast.
It could very well be it. I mean, you come off that last series, and then you look at Alpine, who are slowing it down a bit more on the ground, and it has been able to get past with a couple fakes here and there, good 50s on the side of Alpine. So hopefully they get paced properly, as they almost get a first shot, tied up 1-1 in the series now.
Percy baiting in the play. He gets to follow quick. Pinch across. Magic Bear collects. Cut off by Percy. Magic Bear up forward. Oh my goodness, what a pop by Magic Bear. It's a good chance. Nice have held strong. Clearing to the side for ZPS. Rodoko trying to stay close now. Magic Bear across. Jordan. Austin mid.
Look at these shots, all
Pressure,
coming
man.
out from outside the box here. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
That it's forcing the Knights defenders to like come out and cut off the angles, which is making it really awkward for them to rotate defensively.
The Knights are doing a good job of holding this so far. Pressure is mounting. No player is home for the side of Alpine. Very aggressive positioning. Starting to slow down the play. Jordan taking some time, letting his players regroup, reposition.
GPS gets called off from that one, or at least calls himself off. Kinsday heads up for it. 50-50 in favor of Alpine. Jordan with full boost tank tries to slowly air dribble that one in. Gets the bump, but no third for Alpine, thankfully. There's no punish. It is still on offense on the side of Alpine as they try to play a tricky one.
They're getting away with murder here.
Yeah.
They really need to start smartening up on the defensive side. Clears need to be few and far between here. a good chance the Magic Bear does get deflection. Cleared out Brodoko, waiting in midfield, looming for that shot opportunity.
Oh,
there it is.
Rodoko, you talked about it. He was just sitting there sharking. Jordan puts that to the side, but not far enough to the corner, and Rodoko just cleans it up, bottom corner, tucks her in. There's no stopping that one.
I got too excited, Brody.
Yeah.
And I spilled a drink all over the floor. So.
Oh, do you want to go clean?
It may stain if I don't get rid of it right now, but
you can go clean that up.
Oh boy, it's all over me. I might have to change my pants.
Why are you wearing your pants? Aren't even on the broadcast.
I mean, I like to stay dressed and fully clothed. I'm a normal human being.
All right,
well, tragedy.
Can we get an F in chat for Lethamyr, but a dub in chat for Pittsburgh Knights as they put away another goal? Just let me know when you're back, my dude. And now Alpine behind 2 with 2.5 minutes left. Alpine somehow not in the lead. Again, they've had a lot of opportunities. The Pittsburgh Knights just barely holding one out there off the crossbar. Slowly trying to kill off that clock. Maybe another goal, but you don't want to push it at this point. You have Jordan waiting for the cleanup here, but it's pushed to the side nicely. The Knights just holding off on defense as per usual. A little more structured than before. This passing play from Alpine buys a lot of time for Pittsburgh Knights defense, back and forth. Seems to be that the Pittsburgh Knights are holding off this offense just a little bit better now than they were previously. Double demo there leaves only Jordan on the field. Rodoko maybe getting ahead of himself there, loses possession of the ball.
How's it going over here?
Good.
Yeah,
how's it going over there? Probably
the entire floor is
we're
purple,
scoring goals.
So you know what happens.
The floor is purple.
Yeah, I might be drinking a
grape juice,
a cranberry grape thing, whatever it's called.
Cranberry grape thing.
Like my cat is coming to help clean up here.
That's the only reason. That's the reason I have pets. Is organic vacuum cleaners. Yeah, no, we're scoring goals over here. So.
Oh, we are popping off.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to spill more drinks more often.
Hey, we're doing good. They felt bad for you. Hey, they're like, hey, if Lethamyr can get through this, we can too.
Well, I'll be one time. I'm just gonna wash the floor real quick with some paper towel, and then I'll be right back. So I should be back before the end of this game. We're looking clean.
Backboard touch. That's a shot. Bottom corner. What a save though from Percy. Let's see if the Knights can score a couple more goals for Lethamyr. If anybody has any cleaning tips, please drop them in the chat. I feel like cranberry juice is relatively difficult to get out of carpet. And the Pittsburgh Knights bring themselves to match point as Alpine, as Les said before, gets away with murder. As a lot of offense from Alpine. You look at it again. 9 shots from them, and only 4 of them were saves. That means 5 shots were missed out on by Alpine. So I am worried about Pittsburgh Knights on the defensive end right here. Lethamyr looking pretty clean. I like the new getup.
I come back from underneath the desk. I just see a stick figure.
What do you mean a stick figure? That's you, man. You've always looked like this. Where's his arms? The production's yelling that he didn't have time. What do you mean he didn't have time? They'll give appendages to Lethamyr.
Wait, what did I miss?
Lethamyr, you don't have arms, man.
Yeah,
Like, how are you gonna play Rocket League? No wonder he spilled his drink. He probably
I'm
tried
just
to
a head and
smack
2
his
legs.
head off
That's all
of
I
it.
am. That's all she wrote, literally.
Oh, okay. Do you have your arms back?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. My arms are here. They're ready to be used.
Couldn't even
Okay,
tell
well,
that was
there
a
we go.
photo.
Yeah.
I thought that was you still.
That was exciting.
Well, Lethamyr's back with us, and hopefully his floor is
Oh,
doing
it's
all
purple.
right.
Oh, I can't do anything
Oh,
with that.
no.
It's done.
You have to get
I
it.
tried my very best, but we're back into this now. So we have
Match point.
match point. Yeah, match point. Sorry, I'm trying to recollect myself.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you know what? I'll set you up. Storylines. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us now, welcome back. It is now match point for Pittsburgh Knights, 2-1 in this best of 5 qualification match. Alpine scoring the first goal of this game number 4. See if the Pittsburgh Knights can end it now. If Alpine is going to bring us to a game 5.
we're gonna take this 3-1 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even
Still
a
got to ask
question.
the question. Well, I mean, it's storylines. You got to
True.
push the storylines, make the viewers think that there is a possibility that Alpine could, bring us further. Oh, Kinsey, can you finish it? No, the post is still in though. Rodoko is going to clean that one up, but that was so close. Kinsey was yelling after that one at himself.
Every player of Alpine expecting the shot on target, bounced off post, and Rodoko finishes it off. So that's good to see. We're tied up in game number 4, and it's looking better for the Knights as we go on. Last game was a really strong showing. Like I said, if we really need to pull out the big guns, I will spill another drink, maybe an entire entire 2-liter bottle.
Take the whole 2-liter out.
For those Americans out there, that's a gallon.
Is that a gallon?
I don't know what it is. It's something like
You're
that.
just making these.
I'm just talking to my
I mean, it is much like the imperial system. It just seems pretty made up. Not really based off anything.
half a gallon. My bad. And now we're moving into 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Chances left and right for both teams. Jordan will collect the ball here. First he goes for the demo, push forward, so interesting strategy. Demo midfield. Awkward pop mid. DPS gets the clear over 1. Antivir will start the pressure. They to try and dunk. They to clear down for Rodoko now. And Magic Bear is left alone. Good call off. CPS to back out. Two players up from Knights could be scary. Jordan tries to attack.
Good job. Good job from Kinsey, though, to get up on that one. He knew he was already out of position. He just needed to get in the way. Leave that last defender to make the save.
Two players committed. Once again, Rodoko and ZPS caught up in the back. Magic Bear keeps the pressure. Just looming in midfield caused some issues, but the Knights are holding strong. Chance to cross. Magic Bear commits, so this is a good chance for ZPS to pop it forward.
Is that going to be center? No, it's kept in the air. Percy's going to clear that one down. Might have been better to drop it either way. He didn't really have someone there to support him, so that offense was probably going to die regardless. Speaking of that, Magic Bear taken off the field. Chance now for Knights to move downfield, but quickly turn back to the blue end. These hard clears. Magic Bear is going to be able to get another one, but no, he keeps it close this time. 50-50 in his favor, and there's Jordan just to put the pressure on. And now we see Alpine holding the ball close. Doing their best to make sure that they're not just banging the ball away.
It's going well so far, too. And we are tied 1-1 in this game, but all it takes is one opening. And so far, the Knights have had a good showing in this match. Clear on the field, though. Magic Bear to quickly follow up. Cut off by Rodoko. 50 across. Nearly an open chance. CPS will keep the pressure. The bump forward. Percy now has some space.
Yeah. Alpine doing a good job of making sure this offense from the Knights gets shut down.
And
It is
early
difficult.
too.
Yeah, it's super difficult for the Knights to find any kind of opening right now.
But they're working with what they've got so far. Just playing it patient.
Oh no,
That almost worked out in their favor.
Yeah,
that
turbo
that
flick
miss.
almost worked.
All three
They broke
players
off
of the
the
Knights
ball.
really close together here.
That looked really weird. I think he got bumped through the air.
Zero boost for Jordan. Will be stuck for a while. This could be a chance. Berdoko past the mid.
CPS straight
bump.
shot and the bump on the net. I thought it was going to be saved. And CPS sinks one away. 17 seconds left with the help of Berdoko. No, sorry, it was Kinsey just clearing that last defender. The smallest of touches, halting the defense of Alpine. And this could be the end here. 17 seconds to hold off.
A little bit of a kiss from Kinsey on the back end. This could spell victory for the Knights. They just need to hold out these last 8 seconds. Bit of confusion on the side of Alpine.
And that's going to be it.
Last effort here, and this will be a drop. And it will be the Knights moving on for the first time in the grid, North American grid, in week 4 into the playoffs. So it's
The
good.
Pittsburgh Knights finishing top 8 in the Rocket League Championship Series Season X Fall Split Regional number 1. And now finishing top 8 in the grid week number 4. The Pittsburgh Knights, people are going to have to start waking up and watching up for these boys on the field because they are just gaining steam every single week, Lethamyr. Oh my goodness, you've been working out.
Oh, now I got arms. What happened?
Dude, you got gains? Cat's drinking up your cranberry juice in the back?
What does it say? Slurp, slurp, or something? I don't know what's going on, but
That's the sound you make when you drink cranberry juice off the floor, right?
yeah, it's just. I mean, that's why you gain a second bicep too. Whenever you purple out. I don't know what happened to my arms, but
Quadceps. He's got quadceps, dude.
oh my goodness,
Dude,
but yeah, that's
you gotta tell me your workout regimen.
Rocket League for 10 hours a day.
Is that you heard it, guys? Just Rocket League 10 hours a day. If you're
That's how
not
it
doing
is,
it, you're
man.
not gonna look
Yep.
as good as Lethamyr.
It's 95% Rocket League, 5% grape juice. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, that's
And 100% reason to watch the Pittsburgh Knights broadcast of the grid.
yeah, just kind of like honestly perfect production. I don't see any issues here. So we're moving on. That's my fault. A bit of a spill. If you guys missed that, I got a little too excited from Berdoko scoring a nice goal in the game number 3. And yeah, they played really well that series. It's looking cleaner and cleaner every time. Like I said, we're looking better and better as we move into these higher level teams, and as we move through the bracket, now we move into the playoffs. Now it's where we really need to shine. We got a best of 7, lots of chances to bring it forward and push into that semifinals.
Yeah, this is the thing. So I think for this series, it was the pacing. We talked about it a few times. We even brought it up before it happened. Is that playing against Space Station Gaming was so fast. So those hard cuts worked because you always knew that you were meeting someone for a 50. You knew Space Station was going to be challenging something. When you come down to Alpine slowed things down a lot more. You saw a couple fakes that started working. Thankfully, didn't turn into goals, but they definitely were messing up the Pittsburgh Knights on the ground play. So anytime it came to that, it really threw them off. But you go into the air, Alpine was playing really fast, so you almost had to challenge everything, but then you had to remember on the ground to slow it down a little bit. So that pacing definitely caused problems for the Pittsburgh Knights, shifting back and forth like that, but they did pull it together by the end. They did figure it out. You talked about their adaptability before we even started the broadcast today, or right at the beginning during the pre-show, and that was very apparent here. Being able to adapt over this best of 5, to be able to take it against Alpine Esports. They did start off with a win, and it looked like it was going to be a super, super hard challenge. You know, a lot of chat predicted a 3-5 going to game number 5. Thankfully, it didn't end up there, and we do have a qualification. The first time in the grid, Pittsburgh Knights qualifying for top 8. Now, I want to reference back, Lethamyr, to that tweet that you brought up of Corelli's, where he talked about consistency and performance across the grid and, of course, across the RLCS regionals. I feel like the Knights now are starting to really show that consistency with a top 8 performance in the regionals, consistently going to those game 5s against the top teams. Of course, having quite a tough draw in their groups, but now finally pushing through. I feel like a lot of eyes are going to start to be on the Knights as well as a contender for consistently being in those top 8 spots.
And yeah, and like you said, the consistency's there. It's just getting better and better as we go. And now there's a bit of an expectation for the Knights to uphold this sort of quality of gameplay. So hopefully we can see that continue in the weeks to come. But we still got this next playoff bracket to play.
Yeah.
I believe all 8 but 1 team have been guaranteed a spot in playoffs so far. We have Energy versus Plot Twist 1-1 at the moment. They're actually just starting game number 3 at 0-0, so a little bit more time to play on that one. But once that is settled, we'll have the playoff bracket ready to go.
Quick prediction from you then on. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a very quick prediction. Who's making it through that one?
I mean, has Energy looked consistent lately? Because I mean, you say it's like a quick prediction, but it is 1-1 right now, and I haven't been able to see the rest of the game. So I think on paper you definitely say Energy here, but Plot Twist have also surprised a lot of players. So
consider this though: they're in the lower bracket because Team Envy beat them, and the matches went to a minute 39 overtime, a 5-minute overtime, and then the last 2 games were 1-0, 1-0. So they were going toe to toe against Envy. So
yeah.
Energy, I think, is probably still looking pretty good right now.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like on paper, I think that Energy definitely takes this. But every team is a formidable opponent at this point, at this level. So you never know what's going to happen. So we'll have to see what comes out of that. I actually don't know who we play first. If
no, yeah, they reseed afterwards.
Right. Okay.
To avoid rematchups and stuff.
We do have a bit of time between now and the next match.
So we don't know yet, ladies and gentlemen, but the Pittsburgh Knights journey is going to continue. They are in the top 8. Everything is going to be best of 7s from here on out as we find out who our final match is going to be, if it's going to be Energy or Plot Twist making it in. Rogue, Peeps, Team Envy, Kansas City Pioneers did make it through in that lower bracket as well. G2 and Space Station Gaming are going to be your top 8. We're going to find out who that last one is before we find our bracket in just a little bit. So we'll see you back here in just a few.
Just float away, fall asleep until of starlight, the innocent lifetime flickers and flashes under a canvas. No, nobody seems worth it, while the feeling's sophisticated. The view is so restrained. The past is nearing closer and closer, I fear. So let's just cut the bullshit and tell me who's independent. Thumbs twiddling and your life's escaping your mind. Keep in mind, well, the air ain't as free as it used to be, but that's quite alright when you're still 18, it seems to be. And I'll tell you who's overrated. What's a beautiful person with some hideous dreams? Well, the lining isn't silver. We're verging on the side of the road that'll take us home. The edge of us is getting weighed. Read about your life in your local papers. Realize the end of us is getting near. You're just a droplet of paint trickled off your canvas. Delirious illusion flowing backwards through the river of color, while we analyze to try to see it clearer. Secretly appealing to a lonely prisoner. Now what's your vision? Initiate your shading, blend the universe together. In time it only gets a little easier. Suddenly piece yourself back together now. What's your vision? Is crumbling. Let it collapse into the abyss. In the midst of summer it won't exist. This emptiness, it's just a blank slate, waiting for a painter to interfere. It's quite complex, but what I know. catching diamonds in the rain, letting precious water through the drain. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never ride. Oh, they were dancing way up high. We built these walls so we could find who could prove themselves to the waves of time. We're trying to repent before you sin. It's like giving up before you begin. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never ride. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light, future we will never ride. Dirt on our feet was bone dry, it was bone dry. Thought another goal is all we needed, taking second chances till we bleed. And when all the love had been depleted, we had but no choice to concede. As the stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never ride. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light, future we will never ride. Dirt on our feet was bone dry, it was bone dry.
Burn, I'm burning in my skin. Can't get them out of my head. Words, these words you said to me, yeah. Stop my heart barely beating, and now I'm stuck on repeat. I can't sleep through this madness. It's madness. Tame the fire, suffer to live in the ashes.
Need someone to come reconstruct it. You know it, you got it bad, and I got it bad. We got it bad. Now we're back to that feeling we never had. Just pretend. Catalyze my catatonic mind. Give it life until it burns too bright, burns too bright. Consume whatever's left inside. Under cover of night, with the past out of sight. We both knew it wasn't right. That's what happens when gasoline plays with matches. Whoa. And that's what happens. And that's what happens when gasoline plays with matches. Whoa. And that's what happens when gasoline plays with matches. You get burned. And we must wanna be heard. We must wanna be burned, 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 burned. We must wanna be burned, 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 burned. We must wanna be.
There has always been a fire inside of you. He knows when you're getting lost. He takes you back to the end. When there's nowhere to hide, he'll fight on your side. He takes you back to the edge. Safety and security. Now you know how to breathe when you're alone. This might be like a prison. You can recover your sanity. When you need to replace the things that you love. Go ahead. Find what legends to infinity. He's a fighter. He's a fighter.
rather see you in my dreams. And every chance you dance I'll take, if I can't see you again. And I've got all the time it seems, I'd rather see you in my dreams. And every chance you dance I'll take, if I can't see you again. We could be listening for answers, waiting to be set free. You came across this moment, and I'm so thankful you shared it with me. Take it from me, we live to be free. Take it from me, I want you to see. And I've got all the time it seems, I'd rather see.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Grade Week number 4. You're watching the Knights broadcast. We've been witnessing their journey throughout all of today and the last few weeks. I'm at Leaf. Alongside me is Lethamyr, and we just saw them make it, Lethamyr, into the final bracket, into the single elim top 8 for the first time ever, Lethamyr, and they got to pit up against the Peeps.
So it's a good start. I mean, it could have been worse for sure. I think there's teams in here that are so dominant that we just want to not have to see again, especially Space Station after the last match. The Peeps are definitely a formidable opponent. Like I said, anyone you play in the playoffs at this point, they're going to have, you know, not a tough time, but you know, it's going to be a tough fight. And just a reminder for people who don't know, this is now a best of 7.
Yes.
And the Peeps actually do get a game up on this series at the start because they are coming from the winner's side of the bracket.
Yeah, so our top 8, Space Station Gaming, Rogue, Team Envy, Kansas City Pioneers, G2, NRG, Peeps, Pittsburgh Knights. On the side of the bracket of the Pittsburgh Knights, if we get past the Peeps here, we have G2 or NRG to face off against. So this is where it starts to get difficult, Lethamyr.
Yeah, no matter what you're doing here, you're running into terrible territory. Let's call it that.
Yeah. Well, either way, the Peeps, this is a bit of a rivalry, a bit of history, obviously, behind the roster being the previous Pittsburgh Knights roster here. So, Pittsburgh Knights versus the Peeps. Facing off in a best of 7, the Peeps up 1-0 in the bracket because they came from that winner's side. We'll see if the Pittsburgh Knights can carry through the momentum against the Peeps. Both these teams, in my eyes, playing somewhat similarly when it comes to aggression. We'll see how that translates to the field.
Yeah, I think that with both teams being aggressive, we'll have to see who is the more reserved of the two and who really comes out on top as far as pressure. So far, it's
Rule 1 already.
We do have a Rule 1 starting off quite quickly here.
It's the second Rule 1 we've seen today that's been respected. Who do we have on the field now? So we got Kinsey and Rodoko, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, there's AJ. Yeah, okay. Lucian and ZPS. Yeah, so it's the other 4 at this point. But yeah, so 2v2 is an interesting dynamic here. I don't think I've really seen Rodoko and Kinsey play 2s together. I feel like it's always ZPS. AJ and Gyro have a bit of experience in 2v2. I wonder how long that will last. And who would you say is? I would say the advantage is actually on the side of the Peeps here, having their player in net. They respect it. They do respect it, and it goes through, and Gyro will get the first goal.
Yeah, I'd say AJ and Gyro probably had the upper hand in this one when it came to the 2v2. If ZPS was out, maybe that would have been a bit more even. Just at least in my eyes, ZPS is that kind of playmaker guy, and you got the striking power for Doko. So, I mean, Kinsey is a pretty smart player too, so could have been good. But of course, it goes to the Peeps. Respect to both teams. We're holding that off. That's the second one, as I mentioned today. It worked for them last time. Pittsburgh Knights, they ended up in top 8 as a result. Let's see. The karma carries over. 3 minutes left in game number 1. Pittsburgh Knights.
Starting off strong. I mean, we are 2.5 minutes into this game, and there hasn't been too much pressure for either team. It was a bit of an opening for the Peeps in that 2v2, but now we're in the 3v3 territory. We'll see if anything changes. You can see in the corner, Gyro taking control. Kinsey trying to battle out the 50-50s. 2 players committed by the Peeps. And AJ keeps the pressure.
Well, we got possession now, although quick flick away, Kinsey gets taken off the field. Illusion.
Oh my god, so many players flying by out.
Ultimate fake I've ever seen in my life. I think he faked himself.
I don't know what just happened. That was wild.
Ladies and gentlemen, RLCS caliber teams.
Now we see a chance on the field for the Knights. I really don't know what to say about that whole situation that just happened.
It's so mind-boggling.
4 players just the ball like that.
Well, we're heading to that final minute of gameplay is approaching. As Pittsburgh Knights still looking for the first goal. The pace of this game is so slow right now. You see everyone sticking to the ground. Kind of in that box area there, and I'm wondering if that's causing the Knights a bit of trouble and confusion on what to do here, because they just can't seem to understand how the Peeps are going to take this. We talked about super fast, aggressive speed from the Peeps, but it looks a lot different today.
Yeah, and the Peeps are playing at a weird play style right now where they're just forcing the field ahead of them. Like, they're just keeping the ball on as far away from their net as possible. And that can cause them issues, but so far the Knights haven't found that opening yet. You see they're just playing with mechanics, going for the bump. The last player, but a follow through by Rodoko. Keep in mind, because... Bang. Oh, a great shot. To the far side. Can't be saved by Gyro. That will start their comeback, to mount their comeback in this first, or I guess you want to call it second game? I don't really know what you would call that here.
We'll just call it game number 2.
Yeah, we'll call it game number 2.
What I did like to see there, though, is up the field as Rodoko and ZPS moved it up, Kinsey just went straight for the demo after he got the first one, playing a virtuoso, and that put a lot of pressure on that last defender. I think it was Gyro, allowing for that goal to be scored as he couldn't get enough power onto it. Still one in the net. Now we're only down by 1 goal, 30 seconds left. Good control from Rodoko. I like to see that underside touch. Keeps control. Speed from ZPS, double tap. He hits those, but
got a boost
by AJ. And the boost was a secondary problem to AJ.
Slight opening there. ZPS does bail out his team. There on the back corner. A little boost. Look at his boost. I thought he was going to get his boost stolen there, but player came in the last second. Good chance from ZPS. Looking like AJ will carry this out for the last few seconds and stall it out. And there it is. So 2-0 for the Peeps so far in this best of 7. Will the Knights be able to come back? And honestly, they're 1 game away from match point at this point, so it's a bit scary for them.
And
as you can,
Chad is confused. Why are you confused? The OG PK versus new PK. New is better. New is better.
He's always better.
New. We got fresh blood on the field right now. We got malleable minds that can be formed into the greatest team in the world. You go with New. New is better. But now, with that 1-up in the series, because the Peeps came from the winner's side of the group stage, you do have a 2-0 situation now. But it is a best of 7. This isn't a match point. The Peeps would still have to win 2 more. So for the Pittsburgh Knights, they have 4 that they're going to have to end up winning to be able to take the series. But again, it does make the journey a little bit longer for them. But that is the result of going through the upper bracket. Get that advantage.
Definitely a tough start for them, but like we've seen them come back from series like this, where they seem under pressure. But at the same time, there were lots of good chances at the end of that match for the Knights to really start to solidify a starting lead in the series. But obviously, with that started like that first game lead from the upper bracket, it does make it a lot more difficult. As there's just a chance there. Just missed, luckily for the Knights. Now it's down the field. Arrow chasing. Cut off by ZPS. Goes with the 50-50. AJ looking for two, but that open net or open space in midfield will be caught up by ZPS.
They're holding off midfield pretty well right now. I don't know if that was the best touch, though. That gives it right back to Gyro. Second chance. Therefore, the Peeps, they put out an onslaught. It looks like a little bit more control coming out from the Pittsburgh Knights right now, though. You see them start to connect with each other. They're getting up for these challenges a lot quicker. Look how in the face they're getting to the Peeps. And a fake there. Illusion has to cut that one off.
A lot of good chances. Like you're saying, they're getting way more aggressive, getting in the face of the Peeps players. And those are open to chances, but 50-50.
What a save there. Kinsey puts it off of the post, but he can't finish up the second shot. That was entirely close. I was hoping to counterattack.
Such a good effort by Kinsey at the end there, and then he just has no boost left after that pinch.
Yeah.
And the shot from Illusion. So really unfortunate. That was such a good play to get back to that. And that pinch honestly couldn't have been better. That was as good as it's going to get in that situation.
Follow-up coming through for the Peeps as they drive the first goal of game number 3 down. Pittsburgh Knights, though, starting to ramp up that pace. Starting to get aggressive. We talked about it just a minute ago. I'm sure we're going to see some cracks start to break open in the surface of the Peeps defense if they keep this up. They're going to have to look out for each other on these passing plays. You definitely want to make sure the Knights are connecting that ball from one player to the next.
I mean, so far so good. It's a few opportunities few and far between, but they still are finding those chances when they have them. Just not quite finishing up the play.
Yeah, a bit of a miss there. It's going to allow the Peeps to start an attack here.
DPS got a boost, leaves it for Kinsey, but
he didn't have boost. I thought he had boost. I'm like, that's a chance, but yeah, ZPS just used his boost up a few seconds ago.
Oh, good chance again. Good clear. Space now for Kinsey. Rodoko tries to cut it off, but Gyro's so quick and gets back to it. And that will be a 2-0 lead for the Peeps. A tough matchup for the Knights here. They really don't want to take this loss because they're going to begin to match point with no games on the board for themselves.
Well, this is why the new phrase, well, it's not a new phrase. It is a very old phrase. It's been around for a while, but why it's resurfaced lately is you don't sleep on the Peeps. They are a solid team. Even Space Station Gaming having trouble with them. But I still believe the Knights can get some wins off of them. They just need to clean up a little bit of their game, their touches around midfield. They've lost a lot of pressure because of a couple misses or touches that weren't exactly back to themselves. You know, you see here Kinsey getting the soft touch to try to set up a play. Use that to get the ball to a teammate. Hold the ball close, and you should be able to hold that offense just a little bit longer.
Really tough because the Peeps are a really solid squad. The mechanics are definitely there, and Illusion's been fitting in pretty well. So it's a tough read for players. Reading it, like, I don't know if this is the first time they've played this roster, but those shots like that from Rodoko are just not going to do it for the defense.
There's a finish, ZPS.
Close.
There it is. Kinsey, Rodoko.
Oh my goodness. There it is. That's the start. That's what I'm talking about. That pressure. Force up the players into an awkward position. ZPS with a good 50-50 backwards. Rodoko's so smart to be ready for that in midfield.
They're getting goals. They're putting them away. They just need to Turn up the frequency at which those happen. With a minute left, and only down by 1, you don't need to force a win here. You can force an overtime instead. Gives you a little more time to breathe to get that 1 goal without giving up too much of your own half and causing problems that will result in another Peeps goal. So we'll see if they can do that here now. CPS on the attack. Follow up from Kinsey. He'll get beaten out. Musty from Gyro. It's an easy save. If you aren't Arsenal, get out of here.
I mean, a lot of players are starting to do that more often now. It's that Musty in those situations. And it does pay out. It pays its dividends for sure.
That's true. Good infield passing from Pittsburgh Knights as they look for this final attempt at an overtime. What a hard clear there. And of course, AJ is just going to wait. He's going to try to kill as much time on the clock. Counterattack chance, though. Let's see if that last player gets demoed. Gyro stays alive somehow. The ball bouncing in the middle. Not kept up. ZPS, one last chance to keep it up. I wonder what Gyro's going to do. A pop high. It should hit the ground. Somehow it's still kept in the air. Rodoko, another touch up. And that's going to be 2 players out of the play. Kinte has to do a lot of work here to make sure that stays up. And the drop straight down, of course, is going to come out from the Peeps. And they take this to a match point now. 3-0, starting with a 1-0 lead coming from the winner side of the group stage. They got a free win off the bat here against the Pittsburgh Knights. And given I don't know if they're pacing up right now. The Pittsburgh Knights are pacing up, but given that they didn't have that 1-0, if they win this next one, I'm very convinced that they could win this whole series. But it's going to be really hard already being down 1-0 in the series. You don't have a lot of time to readjust.
Yeah, it's tough when you start off with a differential like that, and now that they're at match point, it's a big road ahead for the Knights, having to come back from a best-of-7 reverse sweep. It's not often you see it, but it is possible. And I think that they do have what it takes. It's just they got to clean up their mistakes on the back end. Mm-hmm. Mechanics from the Peeps right now is looking really, really solid, so you have to be mindful of that. Make sure you cover your options. The midfield needs to be cleaned up definitely a lot more, just because there's too much control for the Peeps to take over the whole midfield and basically bait out too many players from the side of the Knights.
Well, there's 2 things we could really use right now. It's either A, let Spuda join. He's begging. Or B, Lethamyr go punch over a glass.
And I spilled one. Here we go. All right, here's a chance.
Carpet again. Your sacrifice is needed.
Come back from the 7-Eleven. I'll be back with a big slushie. Don't worry about it. Drop it on the floor.
Just a big gulp. Just the biggest one you can. We need it for this reverse sweep. And that's what it is. Looking for versus what were you saying?
I don't know. The Knights are complaining about us jinxing the boys, but I don't know if Spuda's going to do any better job, with the memes he brings out. So, hey, we're trying our best over here.
He's trying to get him in the commentary booth. All right, get a free box.
I'm down. Spuda, you want to come on in, man?
Get him in the Discord. It's all his.
Illusion with the clear. Cut off by ZPS, but he decides to back off instead. What do you do with the full reset?
Don't go backwards. That is an awkward bot position to be in as he gets stuck on the post. And the defense right now from the Knights seem like they're struggling. A long day.
The longest day they've had in the grid so far, being in the top 8 here.
The thing is, they're starting to realize the effects of playing high-level Rocket League for an extremely long time against teams like this.
Oh, the space. Gyro and AJ connecting in midfield off that aerial, passed across. And Rodoko just didn't have enough boost to challenge. He was too worried to be that last man to defend. And unfortunately, give that space to a team like the Peeps. They will punish you.
Now the Peeps up 1-0 with 3 minutes left, sitting at match point. Pittsburgh Knights, situation dire. But a reminder, the best they've done in all the weeks, this is progression. This is a step forward for the boys in armor. Actually, I got a question. Is it a lion that's in the armor? It's like some anime stuff.
I don't. It looks like a jaguar almost, or like a cheetah. I don't know.
Well, it's.
I mean, I think it is a lion. Is that the main?
It's a,
of the
yeah, it's a
lion?
lion, but like they're knights, right? So they got to be in some armor.
A big Cheeto. Okay, we've officially lost it over here. Someone take over.
It's not only the knights that are feeling it. It's we are too.
I love the logo. To be fair, it is a nice logo.
Oh yeah, we're not saying. I was just questioning if the lions wear armor.
I think you're questioning. Oh,
Because I kind of want to see it now.
okay. I'm out of commission. Give me a second.
We need a Pittsburgh Knights anime.
Make it happen, Knights. I see you in there.
That'd actually be fire.
Whew,
1 minute.
Okay, all right, we're good. We're
40
good.
seconds left.
It's serious time. We gotta mount the reverse sweep. So it's a lot that's needed from the Knights right now. Bringing some space across. Popping mid, ZPS. Weak touch, but chance for Kinte in middle. Also on the ceiling. Can't quite get one, but Roko rushing in. Doesn't quite make the touch. Darrell will take some space.
CPS trying to stall that one out. He's doing everything he can just to get out of their end of the field, but there's those demo plays. That's going to work out well for them. They can get on it now. Gyro's going to get the touch. I think they're hurting for boost now. That's an infield passing play. What connection. Making triangles out here. The Peeps. 1, 2, 3.
F50. And there's not really much you can do after that point. Rodoko getting that poor 50-50, popping right into midfield, and those passing plays are so deadly.
And now the Pittsburgh Knights looking at a 3-0 comeback with 30 seconds left. That's a goal every 10 seconds. Two of them with the kickoff, but not unless that first goal comes right now, which it almost did, in all honesty. But
21 seconds. Yes. So close, but yet so far. As a first shot, first goal for the Knights in this game. 14 seconds left. Leaf, there is a chance. I will not speak on behalf of what the chance is or it happening, because Knights are about to DDoS my computer, so I'm going to just let this play out.
14 seconds left off the kickoff. Pressure lost by the Knights. The Peeps put it back into the orange end. Ball control lost by Rodoko. And that ball floats towards the net. 3 seconds left. Any chance out the window. A goalless second is technically possible. I've definitely done it before.
Unless all three players of the Peeps just drop the grape soda on the floor, I don't think we're going.
No, there it is. 1 second left. The Peeps
not happening.
Take it 4-0 over the Pittsburgh Knights, and we got to be real, man. This was still a win for the Pittsburgh Knights. First time in top 4, only into week 4. There's some growth we've seen from Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, and top 8's not too shabby for them. I mean, we're moving up every week, so you know, if next week we can stick at least to top 8, but maybe push into the top 4 with the semis, that'd be a great showing for sure. So I'm excited to see the progression. Obviously, Peeps were just too strong today, but the Knights will be looking to regain in the next week of the grid.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Knights sitting at 70 points in the grid before this.
There's a rule one again.
Yeah, we had two rule ones today. Two rule ones today.
It's very rare, but for two to happen in back-to-back series, that's pretty incredible.
We're hoping the karma would pull us through, but as I mentioned, with that there, I think they'll grab 60 extra points to throw themselves a bit more on the grid leaderboard.
A respectable amount of points too, because being the first time in the playoffs, it's good to see finally getting a more substantial amount of score for the grid weeks. So, we're only 4 weeks in.
This is the thing, yeah. That's also with 60 is going to push them up over 100. Was going to tie them around that middle pack, around that 7 to 11 spot. Now the Space Station Gaming squad is quite ahead with 552 points, but it's still again great experience for them. Week number 4, you make it into top 8, can't complain too much.
And I really think that's what it is. The word experience describes it perfectly. Yeah. I think that's what they're looking for from this, is just to learn so much more from all these teams. And the more they play them, the more familiar they are with the play style and where those gaps are to really start opening up the field. And, like I said, they're learning quite a bit moving into these upper brackets and then also into the playoffs. It's starting to look a lot cleaner than it was in week number 1, for sure.
Yeah, seeing them grow for a while now. Looking at next week, obviously some more growth is going to want to come for these boys, for the Pittsburgh Knights. They made it top 8 into the RLCS regional number 1 for Season X fall split. Now they've made it into the top 8 for week number 4 grid. Obviously, you want to make that one step further in the future and start, getting some wins in that top 8, start moving on to semis in the top 8. What can these guys work on for the next week here? Or what do you think they're going to be working on with their coach, McLando, here for the next week until the next grid?
It's maybe stamina is one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw it at the end there.
Yeah, it started to fall apart. And with the back-to-back series, this is where it really comes down to who can sort of hold their ground for as long as possible. Number 2 is probably just double commits and panic touches. We're seeing a lot of 50-50s that aren't necessary. Not getting goal side on 50-50s, so the ball is rolling towards them. That's where those 50-50s came in midfield passes from the peeps. So those are probably the 2 big things. Just keep it calm and collected, and make it. You don't have to be too mechanical, too crazy. I think short and sweet, and make sure you're just consistent, and you'll be matching up with a lot of these teams in the upper bracket of the playoffs here.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you're absolutely right. The stamina is honestly. It looked like there were bursts of like, hey, we can do this, and then it died again. So it was the speed fell apart, likely due to the stamina. There's a lot of Rocket League playing against some really good teams today. I mean, you go up against Space Station Gaming as your second match of the day. You're obviously been given quite a run for your mind at that one. You have to be thinking constantly because those guys are fast. So
yeah, Rocket League is full of chances and full of just reactions, and if you get tired, that reaction time goes down the drain, and that's where you start to fall apart. So I think it's looking good for the future weeks to come, and I'm excited to see if we can actually push into those top 4 spots. That would be probably the ultimate goal for us as a team so far, and then obviously grand finals would be fantastic. But there's a lot of teams out here that have proved to be a consistent top contender, and we want to be one of those in the future.
And you called it from the beginning of the grid before we even started casting any of these games. The first ever little bit of pre-show that we had, you mentioned that this is a roster that has a lot of potential, and it started to show this early on. Already 4 weeks in, the roster's starting to really start to punch a lot of these other teams out of the way. Again, as we mentioned, their previous results going to game 5s against a lot of teams. Top 8 in RLCS, top 8 now in grid week number 4. I'm excited to see where these boys can take it next week. But that's it for us. The Knights' journey has ended in week number 4 of the grid. It'll start again, of course, next week on week number 5 of the grid.
Thing I would like to mention, by the way, before we do close it off, is for those of you guys who've recently joined, we do have giveaways happening every week, so make sure you come back next week. We already announced the winner for this week. It was actually Solo Wolf in chat, in the Twitch chat here. So if you want to come back for next week, there's a lot of HyperX stuff to come for the weeks, every week of the grid. So make make sure you stay tuned and stick around. Make sure you come back and make sure you enter for those because it's a lot of free gear, a lot of great stuff, and maybe elevate your PC game a little bit.
But for now,
a little bit.
We have to sign off because
Yep.
Lethamyr needs to go try to clean up his carpet just a little bit more. and we got to bounce off. So
Bit
thank you
purple down
guys so much for joining us on Jinx TV and, of course, on twitch.tv/Knights. It's always fun to have you guys around. The best place to watch the grid and, of course, to watch the journey of the Knights. But that journey continues next week in week number 5, so we'll see you there.
Take you out and I wanna show you off. Take you out and take you out and I wanna take you out and take you out and I wanna show you off. Take you out and take you out and take you out and I wanna take you